of the deep, dolphin mysteries. Bottlenose freaks, short beaks in the night. Humpback shadows, pygmies out of sight. All the dolphins, you know it's true. Rolling deep in the ocean blue. Stripes and spots, they rule the tide. Water dogs of the deep, they don't hide. In the river's grip, seas endless bounty. Ruling the waves, dolphin Illuminati. Praised by Romans, gods to the Greeks. Underwater rulers, the power peaks. In ocean depths, their counts to 6. Dolphins in the dark, never calling it quits. Striped and spotted in the sea's domain. Aquatic dogs in their own insane lane. Through rivers they ride, seas they roam. In the ocean depths, they make their home.
Well, I talk about insanity, which is what's going on in your mind, and outside, which is where you communicate with those outside. As you know, if you give too much of your insanity, you'll lock you up. I tried giving as much as I could. They locked me up. They published it, paid me.
Illuminati, deep, deep, deep in the deep they creep. It's that dolphin. Illuminati in the rivers and the seas, they be a constant mystery. It's that dolphin. Illuminati, it's that dolphin. Illuminati, deep, deep, deep in the deep they creep. It's that dolphin. Illuminati in the rivers and the seas, they be a constant mystery. It's that dolphin. Illuminati, it's that dolphin. Illuminati.
Spread the word with propaganda packs, all for just $40 shipped at paranoidamerican.com.
Paranoid propaganda packs. We got facts on these sticker slaps. So grab yourself a stack and go attack with these paranoid propaganda packs.
These huge all-weather slaps will last in public for years to come. Remind citizens that birds are not real, self-immolation is an option, and might make you magnetic. Do your part and get a propaganda pack today from paranoidamerican.com.
Yeah, paranoid propaganda packs. We got facts on these sticker slaps. So grab yourself a stack and go attack with these paranoid propaganda packs.
What are you waiting for?
Energy. Ain't nobody wanna step to me. Bitch, wanna step to me. If you wanna bring that drama, I'll whoop that ass like Michael Obama. Yeah, I got that big D energy. Ain't nobody wanna step to me. And if you really wanna bring that drama, I'll whoop that ass like Michael Obama.
No, Michelle is a trans.
I'm sorry, she's a what?
Transgender. We all know.
Oh my gosh.
It's okay.
I really had a big like a llama. I whip that thing out like Michael Obama.
We already have it with
I got
Obama.
that big energy.
Let's just calm down.
Nobody wanna step to me. And if you really wanna bring that drama, I whip that ass like Michael Obama. I'm a girl, 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 I'm a whip the thing out like Michael Obama. I got that big energy. Ain't nobody wanna step like me. And if you really wanna bring that drama,
Britney Spears, can we be saved? God, why is Satan controlling the universe?
to society. Advent on philosophies, intentionally, magically good guys. Good guys, good guys. Good guys, witches, weirdos, mischief making. It's okay to change your thinking. Good guys. Good guys, good guys.
Big up yourselves and welcome back to another episode of the Secret Society of Good Guys. As always, we are the little shadow band good guys who won't pay for a check on X. So you can find us on YouTube at Secret Society of Good Guys or Project Chaney. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe. And if you want to do your extra credit for today, make sure you go over to Rumble and also like us there because we are probably not long for the world. I got episode taken down off Project Chaney today that is like 3 years old. So I'm like, here we go again.
Come at us, motherfuckers. Come at us.
It was an episode that now I'm going to have to put up on Rumble a little sooner than I anticipated, but you will be able to find an episode where we go one, we go all with Graffinati over on Rumble. I will upload that sometime within the week. So it's just curious, out of all the shows that came down, it was a very Q heavy show, all talking about Q and Q drops and deltas. I thought out of every single one of the things I've talked about on my algorithm in the last few years, that's the episode. So Adrena,
interesting.
Yep.
It is election year.
Thrill Oxide with Thomas came down first, so you can already find that episode over on the Rumble channel. That was
They're the same
first one.
thing, and like I know how silly that sounds. It's like sounds like such a superficial, but they're literally put into the exact same bucket of dirty no takey downy words like that letter and that substance.
Even that
might as well
number
be the same thing.
I totally agree. Out of everything that I've had issues with in my whole entire history of getting in trouble online, it's really anything that you're talking about with adrenaline and blood, or anything that you might talk about with the 17th letter, and anything that might be a natural remedy for some kind of wacky do that we're not allowed to talk about either.
Yep, pretty much.
I will say I impromptu hung out with Donut this week over on his channel. You can find that on one of the episodes, but it was kind of funny because I swung in and I was probably only on his YouTube channel for like 20 minutes. And he's like, you know what? Let's just go ahead and cut this and go over to Rumble.
So you guys could really talk?
Yeah, I'm like,
Yeah.
for the best.
Nice. What up, Donut?
I feel like China hates my name. Like my name makes them shudder, like Hitler makes Jews shudder.
You know what else too?
Is it China or is it the they? Who runs the world?
Well, it's a little bit of both, I think, because I think China's had a chance to really refine their social credit thing, and it's going to come here a little bit later. But like they've been vetting it out, they've kind of developed better algorithms, so they probably even know that if you were to come back and change your whole name up and use a different email address, they probably have the tech now to be like, we know you, Chaney.
We know your IP address.
You're not
Yeah,
Fred
it's the
Durble
IP.
from freaking Idaho that works at a auto mechanic shop. Like, we know you're Chaney.
We know your voice. But I got my TikTok taken down this week, and so I made a new TikTok this week, and I got that taken down this week.
That's what I'm saying.
And so I repealed it. They gave me the account back, but then took off, said every single video that I put up, which was only like 9. I only had the account
All
for 3
community
days.
guidelines.
All community violation.
Yeah.
Community
Fucking
guideline violation.
insane.
It was so
Insane.
funny. Chaney's like voice memo to us too. It was like, you guys, like, I just created Project Chaney 3, and now I'm gonna have to create Project Chaney 4 on TikTok.
You might as well just go
Laughing.
ahead and register Project Chaney all the way up through like 30 or something.
Because I'm not going to stop.
Hell no.
We're already here, China. Me and
Damn
you.
the man.
I'm
And is it real?
Yeah, I
Save
have a
the empire.
nice ticket to a re-education camp that I hope to meet some of my internet friends in real life for free. So it's really like bring it. We're here now. This is my reality. This is your reality. Your
You're stuck
algorithm.
in here with us.
I'm gonna call Israel. Is it real? Okay, just so you guys know, FYI, future reference. Is it real? You guys know what I'm talking about.
Okay, because it'll probably come up tonight, I'm sure.
Okay, cool.
We are talking about Beast.
Yes.
Wait, we're not going to get into controversial stuff, are we?
Why the fuck not?
I thought Beast was kind of good because Mr. Beast has been like, I feel like every adult in the world just got to meet Mr. Beast this week. So he was on Joe Rogan about a month ago, but it takes that long to get like to the uncool people's zeitgeist from Joe Rogan. And so he's on Time. He's the most watched person in the world. And I feel like a couple of us in this realm have kind of been screaming about it. Like, who the F is this Mr. Beast guy? And now it's like all that, like everyone sees with new eyes, like, oh, look at this pedophilia symbolism. Oh, who's this weird tranny that's working for him, that's sending weird emails out and grooming people over on Discord. And so I just think it's not, so far it's like just 2 of the people have come out of the Mr. Beast clique, but then his name is Mr. Beast with his little, just happenstance, one eye.
Out of all names, why Mr. Beast?
And it was like Mr. Beast
Maybe he's into
6000 was his
bestiality.
original name.
Like, that's insane to me. Like, out of all the names you could choose, Mr. Beast to be like this man of the world, pretty much, like giving away money like it's nothing, supposedly. Maybe it's all a show, maybe it's all an act. I don't know, but I don't know.
Mr. Beast, you're on notice by Secret Society of Good Guys.
Yeah, man.
It's one of the few lists you don't actually want to be on. So
Yeah, you're on the shit list right now.
That means we're gonna troll you.
Your skin suit does not fool us. You may look all innocent, but no, he does look like an innocent, like, you know.
Did you guys all know who he was?
Traumatized about his eyes.
Huh?
I did. I'm a nerd in a way that with online celebrities, like I just know a little bit about TikTokers, a little bit about Twitch stars, a little bit about, I don't know why, but if they permeate too big, I'll learn about them. I want to know what their parents do. I want to know if they were an international banker. I want to know what their religion was. I want to know what school they went to. I want to know where they dropped out from. So it's like, once somebody becomes too big, I don't believe anything. I always say nothing's for free in Hollywood. Nothing's for free in any kind of fame facet. I feel like everybody in this room is proof that it's not just about making content. They have to want you to be seen. So if they want you to be seen by everyone, you will be. And it's funny to me how many parents, I have parents in my realm now that they're like, they almost know, like they're like, my kid's been watching this stuff for years. My kid's obsessed with Mr. Beast. My kid's obsessed with Logan Paul and the Paul brothers. My kid saved up their allowance to get Prime. It's the first thing they ever bought for themselves, and they had to go get a Prime. And so I'm like, oh, I think these online YouTube celebrities might be like, this is the generation they're waiting for. Our kids are on different social media than us. They're watching different television than us. They have different celebrities than us. And why all of Hollywood is coming crumbling down, everybody around our age, we all think, oh, look it, everything's changing. The B system's changing. No, your kids are on to whole different things that you just think they're run-of-the-mill people like you and I.
Yeah.
So the CIA, I think, blends in a little better than they used to.
It's like almost as if, yeah, they kind of own your soul, but it's like in a sense they're at a point where they can own your talent, whatever that may be. Not only you, but it's your essence of what you bring out to the world, your power, your energy, your essence. That is your blood and sweat that goes into whatever you're doing. So technically they own your talent. So it's, you're making them money of what you're producing out of you. You're the instrument. So they're using whatever your talent is, your essence. It's fucking insane. It's bizarre.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And
it starts really early too, because it's like when you're a little kid, right? Or at least I guess it used to be this way. Now it's not that. But when we were little kids, you just had to be like the coolest kid in the class, or like the toughest kid at the school, or it was so localized, right? It was such a tiny little thing. But now it's like you got to be the toughest kid on the planet, or the smartest kid in the world, or the funniest person on YouTube.
It's crazy.
Yeah, Mr. Beast is to the left if you don't know who he is. And this is the most watched guy on the planet if you don't know. And his best friend, one of his best friends, is to the right. That is the guy under all the allegations for grooming all these people. And he did little weird things, like he was probably 21, 22 at the time. And he was calling all these like 14-year-old boys on the Discord daddy, and like made it like a nickname. Like when you look into the allegations, it is such a groom. He was putting up like weird kind of bondage porn, weird kind of like anime cartoon porn. It really is like such a backdoor groom. And then you think of all of these things over the last like 5 years, with a couple of executive orders that were shut down that we had no idea about, like the background of like Clash of Clans and the background channels and chats of all these other video game rooms. And it's like, whoa, I think parents are like just waking up to the dangers of how much their kids are groomed by
I don't think
adults
they're
on these
waking
video
up
games.
to it though, because like I see, I'm an IT for a school district, so I see everything kids search, and like I've learned so many things just by what they search, and it always starts with anime, and then it goes into furries, and that's what they're searching, and then like now I have little kids looking up vor, and I didn't even know what vor was. Do you guys know what vor is?
What is that?
It's a whole other. Little kids.
Should I
are
look it
teaching me
up
this
right
shit.
now?
Yeah, look it up.
Okay.
Let's
look it up together.
VORE.
Oh, VORE. Vor.
VORE.
Does this mean we're like officially old people?
Weird.
I'm telling you, if your kids are into anime, then they're probably into some weird shit, and they're getting exposed to stuff. It's not that I don't like
I
anime.
was into anime, but
is a
but
paraphilia
it's different now, though.
characterized by the
Yeah, it
erotic
is different
desire
now.
to be consumed by or to personally consume another person or creature, or an erotic attraction to the process of eating in general practice. This is how they're like walking in cannibalism.
Yeah.
Kids are this came up when we did a deep dive onto the Dahmer series, because this is one of the things that relates to like what he was into.
Vor, it's gore. It's like virtual gore. And
Yeah,
we're going to
and
look
so
up you eating people. Like we're going to get you real comfortable with being consumed.
Yeah. It's fucking weird. They'll look up like Pokemon vor, or they'll look up,
It's specifically that you're alive. Like you consume an entire person and you're inside their stomach as a whole. And it works two ways. There's some people that like to feel that like they could consume another person entirely. And then there's other people that want to be like eaten and be inside of another person in this weird way. I'm not kink shaming. Sorry, I didn't mean to call it weird.
It is fucking weird.
Vorophiliacs out there.
No, I'm shaming. It's fucking weird.
I've been called a kink shamer once in life.
I'm a kink shamer.
And I was kind of like, what? Me?
Fucking
like
weirdos.
I was like really kind of like floored by it. Like I didn't think that at all. But at what point is it okay to kink shame? Like
this.
Yeah, look at
But wouldn't this just be something
Two girls,
that
one
up
cup?
to be edgy? Or like why would anyone be looking this up? It's not even, I don't know. I guess I just don't get it.
I feel like it's such a precursor of being like, I want to be in you, but I can't, like, I'm so broken. It's like the same way how Jeffrey Dahmer was into slicing. He liked wet, glistening skin, like bloody, cut open skin. That is a man who likes a vagina and something went screwy in there. Like, it's like there's weird shit. Like, you want to be in someone, but there's some way. Look at, there's a vor pride flag.
That's fucking weird. I can't help it, but it's weird.
I don't know.
Wow.
That glistening thing you were just describing too, that's kind of wild when you look into it, about like how he was
Layla,
attracted to the
do you feel like part of your
visceral
innocence
nature
is
of
gone?
the organs. And
It's just
feel like
weird.
I'm telling you the shit that I fucking learned just by having to like see what these kids are red flagged for. And I'm like, let me call their parents.
Oh my god, man.
But look at how a lot of people consider a shiny red car sexy. Like it's got that blood red kind of color. It's the exact same reason why Jeffrey Dahmer was attracted to people's like gallbladders.
Yeah.
It's that
Like that
glistening,
sparkling.
bloody color, and it's got some kind of
What
reptilian
the
brain that
fuck?
says
People are like not normal out there. Holy
I will just
shit.
tell you, I know I'm a little off normal, but in my lesbian brain, which I can only relate to a straight man brain, this is the only thing. I feel like glistening skin is a vagina. That is the normal craving of that red glistening skin. And everything else is just like, "Meh, I'm into the inside of an eyeball. I'm into the inside of an asshole. I'm into the inside of a kidney." Like, what? I don't know. Wow.
This is some
But
Hannibal shit.
that's what I think. I think this is like a slow groom into cannibalism.
And
It's
they're
fucking weird.
targeting children because did you see how they're all animated?
Oh, you should check the map of how many states legalize
Allow war?
cannibalism. Cannibalism.
legalize cannibalism
It's where it's legal.
in the
Mm.
U.S.
In the United States.
Legal cannibalism.
You'll be shocked. Map of legal
In
cannibalism, United
US.
States.
It's going to be all
Yeah.
left-wing states, and it's because they want to eat the rich, right?
I don't know.
Eat the
We'll see.
rich.
Some states will shock you.
Is
just like,
cannibalism
really?
legal in your state?
It's like, oh well,
There's a map,
Kentucky,
like
but
it's
only if they're a
and
second
it'll shade
cousin.
the states that are cannibal approved.
I know. I'm trying to find a map that's like marijuana
You
concussion.
sure they're not talking about eating vagina? 'Cause
Yeah,
that
or
would
like
be okay.
Reddit.
I gotta find it.
It's only it. I feel like it says it's only illegal in Idaho.
Yeah,
Maybe
I think
I'm
there's like
wrong,
so
but
many states that allow it. Shockingly.
yeah, it says is cannibalism illegal in your state, and it's only Idaho that it's illegal in.
Yeah.
But I don't
Damn.
know.
There's
We
a
have to
map.
give
I have
that
to find
the-
it. When I find it, I'll show
Oh,
it
but
to you
it's
guys.
like only if you get stuck as you're trying to pass the Oregon Trail and it's snowing. Like then it's
Is that
legal,
it?
right?
I don't know.
Donner
I
Party.
didn't read into it.
Historical reasons.
They're
I
like, if
know
you take this
definitely
path-
California for sure is cannibal friendly.
There
Don't
was a-
you? Oh, go ahead.
Well, so there was a story. I can't remember if it was in the U.S. I think it might have been Germany, but it was like someone just put an ad in the classifieds that was like, "Hey, I'm looking for someone that wants to be eaten," and someone actually responded to it, and they showed up, and it's been cited as, what if you're a voluntary participant? And I think that I can't remember what they ruled on it. I'm sure if it was in Germany, then they were just like, "Yeah, it's fine."
Well, there was an art exhibit actually where a couple of people volunteered to have some of their skin cut off and cooked for them so they can taste themselves how they would taste. And this was an actual art exhibit that was done, I don't know when, maybe a couple of years ago, but this was an actual thing that
Wasn't,
actually fucking
Marina
happened.
Abramovich or whatever her name is.
No.
Sounds like
It
that
was
kind of
somewhere in
shit.
Europe. It does sound like it.
I even feel like the computer meat, like the generated meat Bill Gates wants us all on. They'd be like, "Oh, this is fake pork. This is fake turkey. This is if we're gonna just fake that stuff, we might as well make fake human." Like I
Well-
think it was like a walk-in and then if we have fake human, eventually we're all eating this one meat for a while that we don't even realize we're all getting the flavor of this taste in our mouth. So then all of a sudden when shit hits the fan and there's these North Korean stories about it was a famine so bad parents were eating their own kids just because they didn't want somebody else to eat their kid.
Soylent Green.
I could have sworn that I might have mentioned this one before, so I'll keep it short. But there was a guy on my military base, one of the first ones I was stationed at after training, that got kicked out of the army because he was making his own blood sausage from his own blood, that he had gone to Germany and he learned like how they made it from like regular animals, but when they got stationed on this top secret base, you weren't like allowed out of the base. And I guess he was either crazy or just, I don't know, just army guy. But yeah, they got caught doing it, and essentially it was destruction of government property, and I'm sure a bunch of other issues that they had with it when they found it.
So if I'm not mistaken, is it real? Creates lab-grown meat and was the first ones to introduce it to the world. They're the ones who created it. And from what I hear and seen throughout the internet, I don't know if it's fake news, but I believe they use the best type of DNA cells to use is the human cell line. So I believe they create already fake meat with human cells. Heck, 23, my friends. It's an ingredient. Look it up. So I don't know. They make diamonds out of dead people too, so I'm just saying. And they're
the old blood sausage.
Like women who boil their sons, like she boils her son in water, because they're starving, so she boils her baby.
Yeah. And they're the #1 producers of blood diamonds or diamonds. And how do you create diamonds? You can use a dead person and create, disintegrate them, use their ashes, and create a diamond.
Press the carbon.
It's that easy. And they call it blood diamonds. I wonder why. And they're the #1 producers. What's going on over there?
What's going on over there?
Save Israel for last.
What the Great Pyramids they were the factory to harvest the humans so they could make diamonds.
Does that mean maybe if America's pumping out fat babies, then like we're going to be producing the biggest diamonds in history?
Well, when you think about it, diamonds and all these other stones and rubies and emeralds and sapphires, I think they're petrified parts of, the Nephilim, the human or the giants. So what if not only diamonds they can create, but they can create other stones, lab-grown diamonds or lab-grown sapphires and lab-grown emeralds. I mean, everything's technically can be made
alchemy,
lab-grown.
What if crystals are actually crystal? I mean, just a giant name crystal.
Or maybe it's a petrified eye.
Or maybe it's like mucus, like.
Or that,
yeah. Just boogers. You're just giant boogers.
It's not.
I know, because look at how some of the stones are
it's
like,
you
cannot put this
Titan's
in the water. And then other stones are like, don't put this in a full moon. This stone hates it. And then they're like, this one in the sun, you have to charge it. And it's like every stone has its different. It's same as your body parts.
Mm-hmm.
People are just holding on to Nephilim pieces. Like ladies have altars across America with just pieces of Nephilim.
This is petrified shit. This is
this is a giant's eye, a pupil.
This is a blood clot.
This is a blood clot.
This is a wart.
It's really rare.
I'm just saying.
But it doesn't all have to be from human. Like it could be dragon.
Yeah, that too.
Snake or tiger.
Dragon would be cool. I would take some dragon snot.
Dragon, where are they? Come out already.
So that's kind of
takes a dragon snot.
Yeah.
Why not?
I don't get it.
What is the Chinese zodiac, they ain't lying. The Chinese, they wouldn't lie about that. That symbol's there for a reason. They're probably on the outer ring of this realm. They're just hiding right now.
Is there an implication that China was at some point benevolent and like altruistic? Like there was a good China at some point in history? I just assumed that it was always China.
I think they were very strict always, like strict.
Well, isn't it the Great Wall of China is built toward them? So whatever was happening there in ancient times, even the ancient world was trying to keep out.
Yeah, it's like the shooting pillars were facing China, not facing away from China. So technically, whoever built that wall was fighting against China. It wasn't the Chinese who built the wall to protect from people. It was whoever built it was trying to get at and destroy China and won't allow them to pass this way, like the Mongols and all them.
It was like a Mongolian Donald Trump.
Yeah, pretty much.
Abbie, like the Chinese wet market, the moon is coming up right now, you guys. It is so huge, it startled me. Like I was like, oh, like it's bigger, way bigger than the street light. It is like so in my window.
How
It's like half the
crazy is
moon.
that? That point of like when it's like near the horizon, how big it is, and then it just gets smaller. And when it's up at its highest point, it's just like a tiny like little circle. And then as it sets, it just gets bigger and bigger and bigger. Makes you wonder.
It does seem significantly closer.
Yeah.
It's on notice.
Yeah, it's on notice tonight.
It's just weird.
That's what Howard Stern whole thing. He said like
so small.
blow up the moon. Anyway, China. I don't even know where my head went. It's like I saw the moon and it just totally vanished my brain. Like
Well, you guys were like on the Great Wall, and then my head went to Berlin Wall, and I'm like, that's so fucking weird. These walls, like.
What do you guys think about the opening ceremonies of the Olympics? Are they the gayest thing you've ever seen? Like we always see these rituals, but
weren't they making fun of the Last Supper? That's what I heard. I didn't see it.
They were
like,
mimicking
like
doing the Last Supper, essentially. Is what
how
I saw.
Awful is that?
Shit.
Like how awful is that? Like keep your sexuality away from it. Like what the fuck? Are you guys all right?
Or let's just say it wasn't even. Let's take the drag queens out of it. What in the hell in the world we're in now are they trying? Would any state head think let's mock any religion? Like, and then with like the gay and the drag queen and the like Paris. What the hell? And they had a glowing horse going down the river. And I'm like, I'm over the apocalyptic symbolism. You guys are so silly. Like, this is so gay. You're putting a pale horse down the river and then doing this whole drag queen bearded ladies dancing. And I hope the whole world sitting there like, all right.
Psychosis.
Like, what is happening?
They're putting everyone into this like depressive, psychotic, like panic, world-ending type of like sickness. It's like being spewed. Yeah, it's being spewed so terribly. Like prepare. Oh, if there's an EMP attack. Oh, da da da. And we're fucking American. We can deal with it.
You're the drag queen.
I feel also that like the way that they're going about this, they finally found a way to get people to hate watch the Olympics because there's a whole section of people that would never watch the Olympics for any reason whatsoever, even if there was some controversy. But now if you're like, well, they're going to be mocking Jesus and wearing dresses, now all of a sudden like, well, I'm going to keep my eye on them. You know what I mean? Now all of a sudden people are watching it.
It's pushing the pendulum.
And it's that same thing that social media, I guess, has taught everybody, which is this scary in the last 20 years. But like we thrive off negative things and things that make you angry and things that like outrage you. So they're just using that as a PR campaign. It's
because no press is all press is good press.
Yeah,
and not only that,
scenarios is boring.
Not only that, though, imagine they try to mimic or made fun of something with the Muslims. Oh my God. All of like Islam would like cancel fucking the Olympics.
That's if the ratings start to slip, then they'll just start being like, and here's Muhammad. We'll just draw him right now live.
Yeah, imagine that. They almost canceled fucking South Park for doing that. Like it almost fucking got canceled. But because there was so much love for it, like people understood at the same time it's a fucking joke. Well, but like imagine they did that.
Which episode? The crucifixion one?
No, where they put Muhammad in the episode and
yeah, and like Jesus or crucified. Try to
imagine if they would have put a whole bunch of drag queens doing like a depiction of Muhammad.
Oh my God! Ooh, do you know what I'm saying? And like the audacity,
take it on the chin. They are like,
Yeah.
let's give them our
But
jacket
it's not
as
right
well.
though. It's
Yeah,
not
because
right.
It's not right to
they
do
did do the episode
anyone's
where they
religion, even
crucified.
if they put drag queens all like Buddhist sitting. If
I
they
want to see a drag queen like Joseph Smith Mormon story, though. I kind of want
Be
to see that.
respectful, y'all.
Technicolor dream coat drag queen.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of already is a little bit.
I'm sure there is that. You can go to somewhere and they're like, we put on the Book of Mormon.
Like,
Dun, 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 dun.
religious thespians, you're on notice, all of you.
Yeah, it's really disrespectful.
Yeah, it really is. And
It's
I'm
just
saying that, and I'm
disrespectful.
Muslim, and I'm just like, what the fuck if they how do they allow that, to do that to Christians? Like there's how many billion people that are Christians in the world? And for you like to have the Olympics, for you guys to have the audacity to allow that, that's so disgusting.
Okay, what about this? And real question. Do you think any Muslims are on the board that approved this?
Oh,
to mock
absolutely not.
Christians? Do
Absolutely
you
not.
think any
Christians on the
Muslims
board,
would
too.
allow
No.
them to mock Christians?
No.
What other religions maybe would allow it?
Is it real?
Like that is some shit right there. Like I really don't think any like old Saudi men are sitting on some Olympic board being like, all right, but I have to see her drop it. Like what?
But this is part of a
reality?
litmus test too, though. I think in a lot of environments, like Silicon Valley is a really big one. Like in the tech space, there was a whole entire joke that played out in one of the seasons of that Silicon Valley show. But there was they get together and they're building this new internet, and there's a guy there that's obviously like gay, but he's like closeted gay, I guess, a little bit, but he's also closeted Christian. And like it gets out that he's Christian, and he gets angry at like the person that outed him, but he didn't realize that he was talking about outing him as a Christian. But this is a very real thing where if it gets out that you believe in God within the tech space and within a lot of other spaces, you just kind of become like a laughing stock, untouchable, because like there's a certain people where that becomes their one issue. Like, do you believe in a sky daddy? And if you believe in a sky daddy, then they'll just never respect you ever. You know what I mean? And it's a weird thing that you can't basically not give someone a job, or you can't treat them differently legally, but it actually happens. Like that'll 100% happen the second that kind of thing gets out.
Well, before I got my bachelor's degree, my sister, who has her master's and somewhere along the line in her PhD but never finished, she told me educated people don't believe in God.
Right.
So I was like,
if you gone to school, then they like that's one of the things that will get you ridiculed. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whoa. Layla just she talked and her robot came out.
Okay, I'm back.
She was
Sorry.
made for
Everything
a
just
second.
All the
disconnected for a
pictures on the
second.
boat.
I forgot what I was gonna say.
She was like,
But
We need to
It
get
went
Layla CAPTCHA.
a captcha.
Make sure you're human.
Oh yeah.
You can pick all the red lights or the.
Is that how it's
traffic lights.
pronounced? A captcha?
Some of them, yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
Right? Captcha.
Yeah.
Captcha.
oh my gosh, I'm so glad that's what Thomas said too, and Abbie said too, because if that's what I always thought it was, and I was like, because you know how people
I wasn't
will
sure.
say meme isn't meme, some people call it something different, or a GIF. Like I don't know what people call it. Like I just say
I
this,
hate
and
GIF.
then I'll
I don't know how
like
to say it.
people will be like Jeff. Some
Yeah, it's capture. And you
people
know
are
what's crazy? A
Mimi.
lot of people, I guess a lot
What?
of people know this by now, but that the old school captchas where it would show you like a weird word and you'd have to like type in what the word was in order to get. But remember
You
those are
can't
the
tell if
OG
it's a
ones that
6
they
or
don't
a
do anymore.
freaking. Yeah.
But that was us training AI for free for the longest time, for years and years and years. Because what would happen is that they would scan books and all the stuff that was easy to scan and turn into text, they would just do that. And then the problematic words, they would just shop it out. So not only do they verify if you're a person, but you're also helping for free basically translate and tell this machine what these words actually meant. And they were able to take all that data from the entire internet for years and years and years And now we've kind of got this next iteration of AI that can read text.
AI. That's a beast.
Don't you think they want us talking in the emojis too? Because that's even easier for it to understand. Like, it's giving us the emojis. We're not picking them. I always think it's interesting, like from the beginning, I always said, oh no, here they come, because we lost our digital Second Amendment a long time ago when they gave us that squirt gun. We used to have a Glock. Like, we used to have a legit Glock gun. I'm old enough to
Chaney.
remember when we
Yeah.
used to have a
And a bomb.
legit emoji, and now you get a little pussy ass squirt gun.
Chaney, you remember in 2020 the viral post that was going around of how the emojis resembled the Solomon's seals in the way that they're shaped and formed?
Yeah, I actually feel like in recent, my Maria reposted that. No, something else came up with those on them again, or she reposted those. There's something else, like something I just in the
I
last
remember in
like 2
2020
months in my brain.
that
Are
was
you
like a
talking about that
viral.
Elon Musk's wife thing where she did the emoji spell or what?
Oh,
No.
that too. That's what it was.
Yeah.
Good remember. It was
No, I was talking about like in 2020 it went
Now I can
viral,
find
like
it.
how they found the sigils that matched each emoji, and it was like a lot of emojis, and there's like this one's this one, and you can like see it and compare and contrast it. They were legit the same, and I'm like, oh wow, this is fucking clever. Emojis conjuring fucking demons.
You think you
Fascinating.
could if you just started tweeting a bunch of sigils, you'd be summoning demons on a Twitter?
I don't know. I used to think that with those weird different fonts that they had when you typed out, it was just like weird
Yeah.
characters.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, I could
Wingding,
create
is
my
that
own
what it was?
fucking
Wingding.
language
Okay.
with this motherfucking thing.
Here's a couple weird conspiracies mixed together. So I wish I knew the dude who like started the whole thing, but now it's kind of commonplace that the Nephilim look like clowns. Like, people just kind of think that idea, that old clown thing. And do you know how Q, their whole thing that they call the CIA is clowns in the USA?
Mm,
They always call them clowns. It's
yeah.
always been clowns. And so what if it's the Nephilim are the clowns? Like all the shadow government, like Mossad, CIA, China, because China, even the way Q writes China is C space I space A, so that you have to put the H
Yeah.
and the N in.
Uh-huh.
So it would be interesting if clowns was
So they're
the
like the Men in
Nephilim.
Black, but instead of aliens, it's clowns and Nephilim.
I mean,
Oh my gosh, and then think of this idea. The Nephilim wanted the Joker movie to be popular, and they want clowns to be popular in our zeitgeist like it, because then they can walk around amongst us.
Juggalos.
They like put this thing Kiss, they like slowly
Harley
work
Quinn.
it into the zeitgeist, so they have places. Yeah, Harlequin. So they have places to go and just be themselves. They're white-faced. Remember how on Batman 1 with Jack Nicholson, and when they're in the museum, he is putting the makeup on like really thick and like to hang out and go on the date with Vicky Vale, and then when his face gets wiped, his like skin underneath is still white Joker face. I always am like, oh, like he like it. I remember being such a little kid in that moment, really like, oh, his skin is really white. Like, he doesn't have makeup on. I don't know. What about if they're really like that?
Well, because that's like part of it is putting on the makeup. Otherwise, you're not in like full clown attire, I guess.
well, as
Yeah.
above, so below. Like, if you want to bring it, excuse me, Q.
God bless you.
I mean, 7, the letter that we can't say. Not you.
Q Chrome? Can we say Q Chrome and just combine the two words? Is that
Well,
allowed?
and there we go. He just got taken off YouTube.
And
Well, you know how in Inner Earth they talk about in the book of the underground adventures of Baron Trump. Well, they talk about the transparent people or the pale ones, like how they have that pale skin. They're really tall. So maybe like those are like Nephilim, the people that live in the ground, the ant people. they're kind of tall and skinny, maybe.
I mean, whoa.
See?
So, yo, I think that was feedback from like a phone or I don't know.
Oops.
But that's another story from
I will
nature
get a
and
mic
Gods and
soon,
Earth.
guys. And a computer. Give me time.
And I want to say real quick, if you remember when Layla had us watch Gog and Magog,
Yeah, it wasn't a real movie.
but like that little trailer. Oh, it wasn't a real movie?
No, it's like a AI movie that a creator is making. I think he made an interview about it, like how he's creating his own version because he read the Bible, how they talk about it, and the hadiths and all that. So,
Movie?
yeah,
Oh
so
my
it's like
God.
yeah, like a
Gog and Magog.
AI creation movie, not like a Hollywood production.
Yeah. So, but
it's a movie.
how they all their depiction of the demons that came out of that were like eating everything, almost like human zombie locusts. That's they had clown faces.
Yep. The Gogs and Magogs.
What a weird.
Is it delayed for you too, or is it just me?
Yeah, Layla's
Okay.
Am I delayed?
delayed. Yeah.
Like we can hear you fine, but
can
and
hear
then
it,
it gets synced up. But yeah, like we'll hear you, and then we'll see you talking like a couple seconds afterwards.
Fuck.
Here, you say something, but then I'll pretend I say it. But
fuck.
Well, I don't, you have to tell me
okay,
the
I
word
see
you're
it
gonna say.
She's gonna say fuck.
Say Gog and
Fuck.
Magog.
Okay, Gog and Magog.
Oh, that was kind of more lined up.
That was on time.
Oh shit. Okay, maybe it just needs to catch up. I don't know what's
Yeah.
going on. Catch up.
Oh, we're back. And we're
Sorry.
back.
And
Nice.
we're in the same timeline again.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say it again. I know I repeat it here often, but I'm from the timeline where the Mississippi flows in the other direction. This is the timeline that I'm from. I don't know why I'm from this timeline. It's like everybody has their own Mandela effects. The Mississippi just flowed in the opposite direction, and it flowed toward the Great Lakes, away from the Gulf of Mexico. And it was like an anomaly about it. And then somewhere people have found remnants that it has flown on your guys' timeline backward because of an earthquake once. And the Yellowstone explosion in the week was interesting. I don't know if you guys
Is that recent? A Yellowstone explosion?
Yeah. Here, I'll pull it up.
Oh yeah, that was wild.
And a huge fire. I forgot where. Another laser fire created fire.
Yeah, and I seen some girl that she was screaming her head off saying that some guy drove a car and like pretty much put the car in neutral and rolled it down the hill and blew it up. And like it just, this whole area went up really quick. And she recorded it.
Mm-hmm.
He's trying to hide a dead body, I'm sure.
She caught it. You're so right. He wasn't even trying to start a whole forest fire. He was just like, let me get rid of this dead body. Oh shit.
But the forest fire made sure it was definitely taken care of. They weren't going to find any remnants.
Okay, this commercial's playing its way through, so we might have to watch the tail end of it, but let's see. Oh my. I'm sure I could have just found this on X without having to watch a commercial.
Right?
This is crazy.
So many
look
commercials.
Look at And Good RX. Here's how to look at it.
Mm-hmm.
And let me put the sound on because look at these dummies.
These people are being way too casual.
That's what I thought. I'm like, this is the Darwin Awards.
But
and
like,
let's just stop right there.
She ran to the other side.
Anything for the likes, bruh. Anything for the likes.
She ran to the other side.
Yeah.
Like whoever they were
funny.
with they're like, where is she? Oh, don't worry about her. She's already on the other side of the mountain. But this is what those things, it's like when this thing goes, that is nothing. Oh, look at that all-seeing eye of China BS News.
The beast.
of clown BS news. Oh shit. What else? I was thinking of the Beast, like Beauty and the Beast, how really that whole tale is just because of how many young girls got married off to old men. And how so they make this whole story of like, oh, like you'll eventually see him as the prince that he is, like past the Beast gruffness,
It
mean.
doesn't work that way. Nope. Doesn't work that way.
Well, you just got to do enough dishes, and then the dishes will start to talk to you, and then you start dancing with the dishes.
I was
and then as long as
arranged.
you do the dishes, then essentially, then you fulfill what the beast needs.
I
And
was
it turns into a
arranged
prince.
I wasn't
when I
there
was 19 years
before.
old to a 27-year-old, and you don't like the person because they choose them for you. So you start off at a negative number on the scale. So you start off at 0, and then you find out you're going to be engaged to this stranger who's like so much older than you, and it goes down to like -50. I don't like this motherfucker. So it's like, how do you get up there? Everything irritates you about this person because you don't want to be with this person. It's horrible. So I don't believe in that story. That's why I don't like Beauty and the Beast.
Did you ever try the power of positive thinking when you were in that situation?
I wasn't allowed to think. It was not like I'm too stupid. Like I don't know what I'm talking about. It's just not a life to be in that situation with a man who's just jealous, controlling, like literally controlling to the point of like to what you wear, how you walk in the mall. Don't walk with your eyes straight up, walk with your head down because he'll ask you, why are people looking at you? And it's like, what the fuck, motherfucker? Like, do you not see me, motherfucker? Like, hello? Like, why
Is that
wouldn't they look at me?
everyone? Or is that just like luck of the draw that you get someone like that? Or is that basically everybody?
I don't know. I was probably the luck of my draw, or maybe because if he was horrible looking. I will tell you that. He was just not on my level, like nowhere near. So I can understand why he would be so jealous, maybe. But he was just not it. Like it was huge.
I mean,
It
air is
was
free.
ginormous.
And then in a coffee cup, it's like Taylor's holding fine.
No, but he was like a bitch man. Like in front of my parents, he would act like the man. And then behind closed doors, he was just like a fucking bitch, like a little bitch ass, I'm like, wow.
Unexpected.
Beauty and the Beast.
Oh my
It
god.
really is. I mean, that's basically the whole reason that story was written, was for situations like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he'll be okay. Off to the cupboard with you now, Chip. It's past your bedtime. Oh, I feel like all those, it's so crazy to me how the Princess Barbie thing was sold to, it's like still sold, but now it's sold to little boys.
I want to answer this question. Someone's like, what if he was hot? When you're young, 19 years old and dumb, and you're going to be with someone, as long as he's okay looking, you'll swallow that, like, oh, he's so cute. You're blinded by his looks, but and he's ugly on top of that, and disrespectful and fucking abusive. No, thank you very much. No. Yeah, no. I'm not going to do that to myself.
Like
Fuck out of here.
One of the funniest things, it's like you broke a whole generational thing that had happened in your family forever and ever and ever and ever.
Mm-hmm.
The funniest thing about that is he was the one in his family of all the men that always got a free wife just for doing nothing, that he was the first that didn't. Like, imagine, like...
I was like, haha, here's a fuck you, motherfucker.
Yeah, they're like, how's
stay
that
your
wife
ass
of
in
yours,
Kosovo.
big nose? Remember when you had that pretty bride you told us about?
Uh-huh.
Your wife in the other country? You know how like
God.
when you're in like high school and somebody has like, I have a girl that does like me from Canada. You guys, I hung out with her, and it's just never real. Like they always have
She
this
was
like
real.
fake...
She just can't come here because she's in Canada.
Yeah.
She can't come here. That was him. He told everyone all the time with his big nose and his attitude about his bride.
This is my
one
ex.
day.
This is my ex-fiance. Look, yeah, she's a fucking bitch though. Fuck that bitch. Fuck her. Yeah. I know it. I know it. God. So
so
thank you,
funny.
God, for the trials and hardships. I learn every day. Thank you.
Oh my gosh, I
Amen.
can imagine. I
Mhm.
don't think I would have been girl enough at 19 if my parents, and this is what they told me I'd forever do, if like, oh.
I'm a stubborn ass motherfucker.
I would have
I
ran away and joined a
I
convent.
fought
I'd rather
I
be
fought
solid.
for my freedom. I was like, I'll take all the beatings. I am not going to be with that fucking monster.
Hell yeah, that's fucking badass.
It is
I'd rather
badass.
take the fucking beatings. Call me whatever you want. Yeah, I'm a fucking bitch. I'm a whore. Yeah, I'm never going to get married. I'm going to get married to an old man with 4 kids in the country in the mountains. Yeah, sure. I'm a cat lady for life. That's it.
So even when they tell you that,
Those
you
are
don't
the two
even care.
options.
You're like, oh, that's still better than that. Like, you
That's
give me
it.
my cat lady life. That is, if
That's
that's
it.
the other side.
For sure. Absolutely. To live in that torment, hell no. I'd be the cat lady for life. I love it.
Do you
There's
think
also
there's
the Mormon option. Just throwing that out there.
Dude, what's
Well,
going on
that's
with this Mormonism stuff that's going
but Beauty
around?
and the Beast is like that would be grooming for the young Mormon girls, especially the fundamentalists, that are like the 13th wife of some 65-year-old.
yeah, they're just Mrs. Potts.
Yeah.
They're like,
What's
you don't pay attention to Belle. You're not Belle. You're
what's
Mrs.
going on
Potts.
in that world though? Some crazy shit with the ballerina farm and the Mormon husband and wife, and then the Mormon couple who make food. It's like Mormons everywhere.
I
Like
mean, they got a
everywhere.
lot of money.
Well, I
And
mean,
the
it's in the
new
name, more men.
someone pointed out that one of the brand new NSA headquarters is right outside Salt Lake City in Utah, and it's basically where they're storing and they're processing all the data that they've been collecting from everybody, and that's in Utah. And also, I mean, this is a random tangent, but the latest season of 60 Days In is currently in Salt Lake City too, which is weird because they're all like Mormon guards and they all have like these weird expectations of the prisoners, but none of the prisoners are really Mormon, or they're like Jack Mormons.
Mm-hmm.
I just feel like right here, if we were to create a religion, we should call it More Women.
Instead of more men.
Love it. I love it.
We'd have a
Because
lot
I
of
feel
dudes that
like
want to join.
that's
You
what
know
I'm
that.
saying. That is what I'm
Yeah.
saying. And
Why
I'm
would you
not
Yeah,
wanna
it
hang
won't
out
be
with
a
more
cock
women?
fest. It won't
Yeah.
be a cock fest, you know?
No, I am not opposed to the hippo idea. Like, I don't mind a hippo community where it's like one dude, a whole bunch of ladies and kids. I call that hippo community.
I can't do that. I'd rather be alone.
See, it doesn't affect me at all. Like, that guy, just because he could be hooking up with, there could be 28 other chicks he's hooking up with, but he ain't hooking up with me and my girl. But I'll still like big up him. I'll stand next to him at the barbecue.
I don't necessarily disagree with the idea of polygamy. I do like I don't mind the idea of he's being an asshole. It's your turn. Wouldn't mind that idea, but like the whole 14-year-old wives and stuff, I don't get behind that.
I feel like if I had to be in a Mormon community, I would be such a bomb first wife. Like, I just think I would be good at it. And then I'd be like, I'd come out of the closet around wife number 3 to him. He'd be like, duh,
Start
bitch, that's
turning the
why I
other
have you as
wives.
number 1 because you're loyal to the foil. I'm like, I got you, boo. And then we'd make an empire. But if you also look at Mormon, the reason they have so much, especially like the polygamy and the big, huge families, they have so much child labor as well. And I'm not
They
opposed to
do.
kids working. I am opposed to kids working to help get corporate contracts and work like slave labor for like cents to the dollar. And
Well,
it's
and a
like,
lot of them create
But they
their
have a
own
lot of
stuff.
money though.
But there's Mormon canned beans and Mormon undershirts and more like Mormon everything. Like you can actually shop everything you need from within Mormon supermarkets and stuff. And that those ones are allowed to use, younger labor and questionable practices because it's part of like a religious thing.
yeah, it's like they write it into it's the same. They're like, huh, so like you need kids to run the farm.
Well, they've got the benefit of being like one of the newest religions, right? The early 1800s, essentially. So they they had the luxury of actually seeing the Industrial Revolution happen, and like they knew about outer space and planets, so they got to incorporate all these things. And almost no other religion that's kind of like major on the planet right now was created with all those things in mind, aside from the ones that came after it, Raelism and Scientology and all that. But Mormonism was like the OG Scientology in that way a little bit.
Don't you feel like Scientology, and this is just right now, I
You'd be
would
surprised
say
in the
there's
Quran.
more Scientologists on the planet than Mormons. Is that a naive thing to think?
I don't think so at all. I don't think that I think there's so many more Mormons and they have so much more money
That's luck.
than Scientology does, but Scientology's got the best PR sort of resources in the world. I want to say
Yeah, because
best
that's
PR
the thing about
campaign, but
Mormonism is that they're able to sustain their numbers and continue to grow. I think they're one of the fastest growing religions because, I mean, if each Mormon family has 10 to 12 children, you are creating more Mormons like raised in the system.
right, how
So,
many Hollywood stars are having 10 kids out there? Because again,
yeah.
that would be like, ooh, that's Christian. So like, but you can go and adopt 10 kids, but they better not be, you know, white Christian kids.
I know, but don't you
Right.
think per capita, you're kind of like one Scientologist, like per capita, might have $472,000, where one Mormon might have $72.
Oh, absolutely, because there's a lot of poor Mormons and there's very few poor Scientologists if you're comparing apples to
Yeah,
apples in
you
that
can be
way.
poor and be Mormon, but you cannot be poor and be a Scientologist, because
Right.
to get all the way to the end, it costs hundreds of thousands of dollars.
But
I
I
mean,
think Mormonism has way more money than Scientology if you were to like add all their books up. Although you're going by like off the books and political capital, I don't know. That one gets a little bit dicey, right? Because again, the Scientology had the biggest infiltration of any kind of intelligence agency domestically in Operation Snow White. So I feel that they probably got an incredible amount of political capital that they're still sitting on with all of that. Like, how do you put a price on that? How do you put a price on, like, you know, a
Salt Lake
handful of
City,
get out of, yeah, dude. And
the
this whole thing too
entirety.
with the NSA. I mean, there's a reason why it attracts a lot. Howard
And yeah,
Hughes
they
came
have
up.
countries, like they're in like South America, super strong.
Yeah,
Like
exactly. Yeah, Scientology
they
has
have
no
old
footprint
money.
compared to
Mormons have that
Mormonism.
old money.
Well, and Howard Hughes surrounded himself with Mormons.
Huh.
The I was just learning from Heidi Love that of Vegas was founded by Mormons way before the mafia, and that there's actually like a Mormon mafia, but they're just way more like OG, and they actually don't talk, so you don't really know about them.
Yeah, you almost want. I know people that. Oh, I was thinking of the Amish, but in the same way, if you know, like they only have Amish guys work on their land and build stuff on their property, and they'll wait for them. They plan all around their schedule because it lasts forever. Whatever they build, and they trust them. They're super honest. They never need to go check up on the work site one time. Like it's all because the like agreement and whatever it is, it's like, oh, we can trust these. It's almost the same thing, like an Amish mafia, like surrounding all your buildings with it. That's crazy.
Horse and buggies, shootouts, slingshots.
Oh my gosh. It is kind of, it's just like if making a religion, if you really think of like Mormonism to Scientology, they're closer to each other than being close to Christianity or, you know, Islam anywhere.
Well,
So it's
they're
like,
both founded on the same kind of occultism. I would kind of say, because Scientology exists through Aleister Crowley via Jack Parsons and L. Ron Hubbard, and then it kind of like branches out from there. And then you wouldn't get Mormonism if you didn't have the writings of John Dee and like all that sort of occultism, which probably heavily influenced Aleister Crowley, but he derived from way more sources than just Dee. But I think that
I'm so
if
glad you said Alistair. He's the beast, right?
he is the beast, yeah. Well, he's the self-appointed beast, and that was just another great marketing campaign where he believed that no publicity was bad publicity. So fine, call me the beast and the 666, and he wrote all these really over the top poems and stuff. And some people argue it was basically to gatekeep. It was like, if you can't hang with this like crazy poetry and that disgusts you, then don't even look into the rest of what I got.
You know, a lot of people don't know this about the Quran, but there's a lot of scientific like stuff in there when it comes to planets, the body, how a child is born and the parts of it, like very interesting scientific detail in the Quran. I haven't read it full on through, like fully to understand it, but it's actually surprising. Like it even talks about how this realm is created and how it's created and spread out like a carpet, and it's detailed and a lot throughout the book. It's like separated in parts, but it's fascinating. Not too many people know it.
I don't.
Yeah, no, not too many people know it.
We
And
should
then
have
when you
a
read it,
straight up reading. We should just read the Quran for a few episodes. No, we can critique it.
I mean, we could do that. I mean, if you guys really want to do it, we can do it. But like, it's really nice to read it. Fucking.
Maybe on a another. It
So-
seems like to delve into the Quran at like, no pun intended, like at Genesis at the beginning and go all the way through, because the stories are, I mean, just as big, maybe bigger in places. Like
We can read the chapter on Mary and how amazing that fucking chapter is. Excuse me, God, whatever. It's actually pretty outstanding. And then there's many talks of Jesus and all his miracles, and it's astounding what they speak of, and how Jesus' first miracle is him speaking when he was first born, and how he saved his mother's life and spoke like literally the moment he was born. Many miracles of Jesus Christ.
that would be so frightening if you were holding an infant child and it was like, big up yourself.
Yeah.
Well, it wouldn't be able to say yourself because it wouldn't have teeth. So it'd be like, pick up yourself. It would all be like old person without dentures trying to talk, right?
Yeah, and not have it, and it wouldn't have a scented missile yet.
Yeah, there you go. It sounds kind of like that.
It'd be like, oh my god. It'd be like, oh my god, and they were like, oh my, it's like Gog Magog.
Oh my god.
Gog and Magog. Oh my
Magog.
When I first heard about the Gog and Magog, I really thought, I was like, because I heard about it with Ermagerd for real in real life. Like I felt like in the same year of time I heard about them both.
So Hearts of Aries.
Gog Magog of the Bible.
Yeah.
Hearts of Aries. Okay, so the idea of Muhammad, all the perversions that you hear about Muhammad, all come from these books that came about 200 years after he died by these scholars that were nothing, and people follow those books today, and they're called the fucking hadiths, and that's what like turned Islam what it is today, because Islam is just like a way of life, like what all these gurus would preach. It wasn't like about being enslaved and not enjoying life and not enjoying music and not using your logic. It was about like being a free, good human being. Like not to live in debt, to love thy neighbor. But a lot of what people are taught today is like trash from books that are not part of the Quran. So like marrying a 9-year-old, that's not true. But they wanted to make it true because those fuckers, that's what they were into. So they created perversions like drinking camel urine. So, so fuck the hadiths. That's all I got to say.
Look at in this depiction of Gog and Magog, these things have like pig faces.
Yeah.
That is so
You
gross.
guys have probably heard this before too, but Gog and Magog was the name of the Bush family inside the Skull and Bones. They all had like code names, and those just happen to be the Bush family members' code names were Gog and Magog.
Pig faces. And they say that they test the schmack schmeans on pigs because that's the closest things to a human rather than a chimpanzee. The pig is the closest thing to a human being.
Oh, just like,
Just
and they
saying.
use rabbit eyes too.
Just saying. Schmack schmeens.
That's what I like too. We should just start like axe the vax. Start talking in pig Latin.
So what if
Pig-faced
Genesis
Latin.
is actually like code for gene 515 and it has to do with like, which I was sorry, I just went down this whole rabbit hole because my brain has been doing
What?
this thing with Genesis. I know. That's what I'm saying.
No,
I freaking
you go wherever. I just
Go,
think
go,
it's so
go.
funny. You're like, because
you said Genesis, and the
Yeah.
other day I was thinking about Genesis. I was like, what if
I
it's
was thinking
gene
of my
515?
sis, Jen. Okay, go on. Sorry.
I'm like, what if it
Shout
has
out
to
to
do with
Canon all of a sudden.
actual manipulation of genetics to create what we are now? The human DNA. Like the
Genesis. Huh. What if the serpent is the fucking sperm? What if they didn't know how to describe sperm and they named it that, the serpent, because it is serpent-like? What if they didn't know what to name it and it's like, oh, these little serpent beings, these little serpents.
Would they even know that it was serpent-like though? It would just look like goo.
Maybe the symbology of it. I don't know. I feel like that's it. Like, the egg, the apple, the serpent. Like,
You think it would look more like yolk if you didn't know anything about like, the
serpent around.
microscopic aspects?
That's what
The
I was.
serpent around the egg.
Yeah, that symbol, the Ouroboros, or is that it? No.
The
No,
that's
you're
not
talking
it.
about the Orphic egg.
Yeah.
There you go.
That file was so far away from where we're at today. I was
Yeah.
like, oh, I didn't even know I'd need this today in my brain.
I don't know why my brain went there. It just went there. I don't know why. Genes, Genesis, that's why.
Jen.
Yeah.
Jen.
And is this something that you brought up, Chaney? But someone usually
Jinn assist. Degenesis. Sorry, go on.
Genesis.
Genesis.
The egg and the snake symbolism might be so prevalent because that's what people could have eaten really easily. They could have found that out in the fields, especially like right at the changing of the seasons, and the snakes come back up out of the ground, and all of a sudden chickens start laying eggs. And that's something that Abbie usually brings up. Someone here, I think, always brings this up.
It's like a huge thing I have about Abraxas is that people only started to worship the cow because they started to realize, oh my gosh, we could drink its milk, we can eat it, we can walk in the desert with it and puncture its artery and sip its blood and it sustain us. Like they were just in awe of how much they could do with it. Like the husbandry of that animal became a worship. And before that, and we wouldn't hunt. Hunting wouldn't have been our first thing, and we wouldn't have just picked berries. We would have gone and gathered eggs. That would have been the very first thing that we got. And so Abraxas is the representation of the same serpent and egg story over and over again. You have what came first, the chicken or the egg, or what came first, the serpent or the egg. They're both egg laying, because the first real protein we would have gotten as human beings that wasn't rotting meat would have been that egg. And so that would have been really like exciting. And I think there would have been something exciting about it for us that we might have realized with like, oh, this egg is unfertilized compared to this egg is fertilized. That would have been a huge thing for
fertilized and fertilized. So it makes me wonder, what is a sperm? Fertilizer? Because it needs to be fertilized. So what is sperm really? And what is the egg really? The egg is where life is, and the sperm is just the fertilizer, no?
Yeah, I think it literally would be, it's like based on the definition,
The
it would be
food.
fertilizer.
Yeah. It's just
like cow shit.
It's just the food. That's all. Why does this keep happening? I'm sorry, y'all.
Nutrients. But it's like the same, like if you were to say food, it would kind of like, can a plant grow without water and sun and nutrients? Like, well, like the seed needs all that other stuff to grow.
Does.
That's what
Right.
I'm saying. So the seed is the egg, and the sperm is the juice for it. It's like the gas for the egg, for the seed.
Yeah, a little bit of gas
You know?
feeding it.
Yeah.
I think human beings would have been so in awe when they figured out like why sometimes when we get eggs it has this stuff inside, and sometimes when we get them there's a chicken inside, like, or a bird. That would have been, or a serpent. Like, what's the difference between these eggs? That whoever figured that out in the tribe, that would have been such a big deal. And the second they figured it out, that's probably where the symbolism of like the Abraxas starts to change. And they probably
That's when
start
we go into
worshiping other.
patriarchy because they started realizing that it wasn't just the female. The female needed the essence of the man. So then that's when goddess worship changed. It changed from goddess worship, I would say, most prevalently to like a matriarchal societies to male dominated societies, because women were like originally, like the Venus and stuff. They were seen as like the most important people in any tribe because they were the bringers of life, but they didn't realize that what fertilized the seed was the man. So when and then they called that the seed, the man's sperm. But once they realized that that was the missing element, that's what caused it. Like, that's when it kind of changed from goddess worship to this matrilineal, matriarchies to patriarchies that gave the men the power.
I mean, technically, Beauty and the Beast was a matriarchy because that was using the female to determine who gained access to the rest of the kingdom, like, or at least in the original story. Because in the original story, unlike the Disney version, her dad is the king. In the Disney version, he's just some like weird inventor that maybe is like going crazy and probably doesn't have any money.
Yeah.
But in the original version, she's an actual princess. Like, that's why it doesn't make sense that she's not a princess in the Disney one, but like the Beast makes her the princess because Disney just made stuff up as they went. But the symbol was that, like, in order to get access to the kingdom, you didn't care about the prince. Nobody cared about the prince because the prince was just some snot-nosed kid, and nepotism wasn't really on the menu for the longest time. It was, you always had to chase the princess, and that's that whole like Super Mario, go find the princess in the castle. It's not because she's necessarily a damsel in distress, but it's because like that's your access to the entire kingdom, because like she's the highest thing that exists in that kingdom.
I think the womb would be so important too, and even the king or even the council would realize the wombs were important because you'd need the wombs. You would realize in the secretariat way, if you know the brief story of the secretariat, is this chick who let's say in an inheritance, everybody in this family got an heir of this horse that was a winning horse, and until her, everybody else always took the stud. That's what everyone always wanted. And she was like, I'll take the mare. I'll take the womb. And she waited one turn for a horse to be born and become the secretariat, because she realized like there's just as much juice to come out of the womb. And I think the kings would have realized this, and the councils would have realized this back then, even back to the Nephilim. If you wanted a big army of big people, even when what they say about the Germans, what people say about slave trade, you want a big bitch. They would want to go to the Amazonian and the Lesbos and get these bronachas. Is that what you say?
Bronachas, yeah.
They would
big,
want
bold,
these big bitches,
huge women, yeah.
Be the biggest pussy you can find.
Yeah.
They would want the breeding hips. They'd want a big broad. And if you could have a sturdy broad and also in a Mormon way, if this is where the Mormons realized it, they wanted a sturdy breeding broad.
Farm. Yes.
Yeah.
To farm, to cook, to clean, to cut down wood, to fucking defend the town. Like,
and you're also going to have men that are going to be huge soldiers. They're going to be better. They're going to be Viking like, or whatever the big, honored thing is from your territory of the world.
Mhm.
But I think it would be like a big old womb.
Yeah.
We should normalize people trying to become giants again, because you don't really see like you don't see like the huge linebackers paired up
Selective
with
breeding, y'all.
female linebackers, right? They usually pair up with like these tiny little things. But imagine if linebackers just mated with other linebackers for, I don't know, 4 or 5 generations.
Yeah, but for some reason, it's like tall men are attracted to these really tiny, tiny little fucking girls, and then the short guys are like attracted to these tall, like gigantic women. And it's like, do they hate
Like me
being
some tall
tall,
men.
so they don't want their kids to be
Is
tall?
this just nature trying to balance itself out, though?
That's what I think.
Something.
I think
Is
so.
that it? Yeah.
The
Us little
features I'm
women need some
attracted
big
to
men to protect us.
on a chick
But
are
what about us?
the
What the fuck?
You know, a short king will work.
No,
You could be the protector.
absolutely not.
absolutely not. I'm
No
attracted
short kings.
to features of
No.
that are opposite myself. Like I don't like features that look like mine on a chick. I like a girl's with totally different. So I just think it's maybe something in our heads that is a natural balance out of our selves. It's weird when you see
Layla
a couple
believes
and
in
you're like,
Nephilim.
they look just alike.
Yeah, I do. I gotta like, just a little taller and tall. It can't be like my height is all right, but lower. I mean, I'll feel like more of a man than the guy. It's just like the spooning won't feel right. Like it's just not right.
The spooning won't feel right.
You're on notice. Short kings, you're on
I'm
notice.
just saying.
Short king, sorry.
I'm just saying.
You gotta wear your lips to bed with Layla.
Fuck that.
Where you live. Yeah, what
5'10"
would
and up.
happen if someone takes off their shoes and then all of a sudden they just lost like 8 inches? You're just
That's
like,
what
"Fuck
I
fuck
heard.
It's all right.
yeah, ba,
When
ba, ba,
It's all
ba."
right. Nah, if it's like an inch, it's whatever.
Yeah,
I'll let it
they made it
slide.
that far.
I'll buy you a little kind of like platformish shoes. We'll be all right. And I'll wear flats when I feel like it, but I still will wear heels. I don't give a fuck.
There is
Good.
some, it seems like definitely some bloodline. Is everybody in Albania tall?
No. You have like really, really short people, and then you have your tall, and it depends on where they're from. Like where I'm from in Macedonia, they're like majority of just tall motherfuckers, like big ass people. Other
Macedonia
parts,
sounds like Mastodon. It sounds
Ma-
like it'd be big.
Macedonia is an ancient civilization. Like, there's so much history there. Oh my God, so much.
I
And
would
there's
want to
still
visit there.
It's beautiful. We need to take a trip there, y'all. Like, no joke. You guys would love it. Like Albania, that whole
The
coast.
culture
Oh my
seems insane.
God. It really is. And you would have a ball. You would have the time of your life. Like,
Because
it
you
is so
speak
much fun.
fluent,
Yeah.
right?
And everyone
Like in your
speaks English
household.
there too, though. So that's the good thing. Like, people know how to speak English. It's like it's becoming like the second language there. So.
And we wouldn't get married away to people as soon as you enter the country.
Well, y'all probably want to just get married right away. Like everyone's like so pretty, like good-looking people. Like everyone's just so nice, respectful. They're just different. I don't know how to explain it. You gotta go there and just see it for yourselves. It's really nice. It's just so awesome.
It's not what the TV
It
says.
feels like home, man. Just going there. I don't know how to explain it. You know when they say your land is your land? There's just something about like being there that's just like, wow. Everyone's fucking Albanian here. That's so weird. Like, wow. Like, that's just weird to me. Like, for everyone to be Albanian around you. And like, it just felt homey. Like,
Yeah, I can
everyone's your
imagine.
family. I don't know. Everyone looked out for you. You're
It's like when I
Albanian.
go back up to upstate New York and everyone's just white with beards. Like everybody, like 100% of people.
I don't know how to explain it. It's just weird. Yeah, we're white, but it's just like culture-wise, it's like we're just a different type of people.
Well, it's a little attached still. Like we're such a young country. And so even if you can trace your bloodline in somewhere in the 1800s into America, anyone that can go deeper than that is such a rarity if you can go past the 1800s in America. So your bloodline there, you could probably trace your history so much further back than we could find ours, because like a lot of Americans lose theirs at Ellis Island, or because whoever was just taking names at Ellis Island just hated you on the come in, because they were like illegal immigrants coming into my country. And so they would just change your name on the and
Yep.
a lot of the time, this is where the orphan trains in Ellis Island are so sketch. It is like so many stories and of people I know, but even in my own story, where it's like, my great grandfather came here with $2 in his pocket on a boat when he was like 14. Like weird, like where it's like, what? People
I've
are
heard
just
that
sending
story
their
so many
children.
times from my family. Yeah.
Yeah,
If
it's
I
like if you look into a lot of, like, I would say Caucasian American, once we get somewhere to the 1800s, it's like somebody was just sent from somewhere in Europe as a small teenager with like money in their pocket and good luck. That is so crazy.
See, I can trace like both sides of my family back in the United States before the revolution. So like I could actually join the Daughters of the American Revolution because my ancestors fought in it on both sides. But yeah, but there's always one name, like one of them's Alexander Ramsey. There's no lineage for him at all. Like, and that's like 1740s, I want to say 1750s.
We say Alexander Ramsey.
Yeah,
He's on notice.
he's on notice. I can't fucking find anything else about him. He's just a
Do you know
name.
if I really tried to track down my lineage, like back, I probably could find out some like outstanding like connections of like maybe like I don't know, Skender Bayu, whatever. What is his name? Alexander the Great. I don't know.
Yeah,
Like I
I'm
could
sure.
see what maybe tribe I came from in like the ancient times. Was I a fucking Thracian? Was I a Macedon? Was I Illyrian? Like if I really tried. But I want to
I
go
bet
over
you
there
could.
and see what I could find. Like mother and father side. See what I find. It'd be
Well,
interesting.
that's what Ancestry.com was really cool for when, it was Mormon founded and they're
Yep.
really into knowing your genealogy. So I bet you just tripping out on that for a little bit, you could go really far back. Cause on some of mine, I could go back to like 1500s, some of my little branches.
Mm.
Oh my gosh, too. It takes a lot of work. Like you
It
really have
does.
to know a little bit about, and I will say that ancestry.com has gotten so dense that it's so easy to put a wrong branch on your family
It
tree and
is.
play in it for 2 hours, and then you're like, "Oh, that is
Wasn't that
not," and
person.
yeah, it
Yeah.
wasn't
Yeah.
that at all.
The wrong
So
Miriam F. There's like a million of them. Yeah.
or you look at census bureaus from certain times, and you got to think like there's a high likelihood like so many people in the history of your family were illiterate, and so you see like the way they wrote on census bureaus, or like one person in the family, maybe the 12-year-old daughter could write and nobody else in the family could write, and so it's like the names are different on the census from year to year by like they just decided to add an E that year,
Well, and
or
but if you're talking about Ellis Island too, a lot of the time they didn't get to write it. They're walking through name and whatever they heard is what they wrote down, however it seemed like. And then you get, especially if the kid was 14 and illiterate, and that's the only time his name's ever been written down in the English language, and now he's got the name tag and the ID card. Like you'll immediately lose your connection with even what your last name really sounded like until you find out, and then it's just kind of weird how like anglicized they were the second they got off the boat.
even
Like
just
you're gonna have an E at the end of your name. We don't care what it is. There
yeah,
needs to
like
be an E at
Mick.
the end of that name.
If you were a Mick, you could have been a Mac. So it's like a lot of American people with history, they are MCs and they should be MACs. And a lot of
They all
people,
should be, I think, because I think
and
in Scotland it's all pronounced Mac, even if it's MC.
but Scotland and Ireland are different sometimes.
Oh,
And
okay.
and then also the other one that they did is they dropped probably over 50% of the O's. So it's like if you came in and you were like an O Henry, you were a Henry. Like,
Why?
this is how lazy they were. So it's like it was almost like the experiment of America was meant. This is
forget.
what's so curious to me about the orphan train Tatarian idea somewhere around the 1800s. This reset is there. Even when you look at the pictures of old America, a lot of children. It's just kids standing around like with really
Everywhere.
sad faces, like they just witnessed the end of times.
Well, we're talking
Yeah.
poor too, just to make sure that's clear. This is only poor people that were affected in this way. No,
Well,
no
that's-
rich people had their names changed on Ellis Island.
Mm.
Yeah, that is so true.
The children thing, though, like, because I was a literature teacher, so, you know, I'd get into the whole 1920s of it all. And so I had like actual photograph books and stuff that I'd show them. And there's always pictures of kids in poverty or like adults with signs like, have 4 children for sale. It's like, the fuck? Like, this is fucking wild.
Yeah. Well, speaking of islands in New York City, I came across a refresher of my memory today about Hart Island and how that island is full of like.
My Tourette's has to be like, but I really want to know, but I gotta let you go because somebody return of the Mac. Oh my God. Sorry, go on. Like,
So-
that was Nimrod made me do that.
Well, yeah, because this magical fucking island named Hart Island, and you wonder why it's such a burial site. Like inmates from prison. I mean, during COVID, this is like a recording that they caught of like them just burying people, like mass graves of people on that fucking island. And I'm like, is this some kind of blood ritual for that island since it's called Hart Island? Is it like feeding that island? You know, that whole, replenishing the earth, feed it humans idea. Is that what they're doing on that island? That they're just like, oh, let's just bury them instead of cremating them when they could just cremate all of them, but they choose to bury them, and all on Hart Island.
I never heard of that before.
Yeah.
I
Yeah. Go down the rabbit hole on Hart Island. It's fucking mind-blowing.
It's every unclaimed body, they just bury it there.
Mass graves in that island. Bizarre. It's just like, it screams ritual to me. Like, let's not cremate. Let's bury them
also
all
have
on
to
this
say-
island.
If we were trying to kill a whole bunch of people, if you go to Layla's page on Instagram, you can see this video. That is the way with the exception of the coffins, you just dig a trench and you and you bury it. Like, some stories of history don't make sense because why are we camping things up that we're trying to kill? There's some part of the camping scenario of like building re-education, FEMA internment camps versus if we want something dead, gang style, we dig a trench, we make them dig the trench, and then we make them stand in it, and then we kill them, and then we bury them.
But that's too obvious, though.
Well, dude, and there's a crazy chapter in this book called Aberrations in the Heartland of the Real. It's a book all about Oklahoma City and more specifically Timothy McVeigh. And there's this one story they tell in
Heartland.
In Desert Storm that this is something that McVeigh actually saw in one of these sort of like standoffs they had, or whatever you believe was happening in Desert Storm. But they had this huge firefight, and basically they were Fart Island instead of Heart. that during this,
you have
this
to put that in
huge-
the next comic book. You have to find, you guys, you have to discover on Fart Island like an open to Fartaria.
Someone might need to sell it on me. Or actually the current iteration of Tartaria is called Tartaintia. And it definitely, I guess I'll give a little bit of a hint, but in Chosen One 3, we find out that Tartaintia is actually the portal to the asshole of a giant interdimensional Nephilim, and Juan goes up inside a Nephilim's butthole. So that's the premise of.
What did we learn tonight?
Reminds me of
what's
Magic
the thing
School
called
Bus
that Abbie taught us tonight, where people
Vor.
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 So Juan Vor's inside of a Nephilim.
Correct. Yeah, I guess so. Because they'll
Oh my
make their way into the stomach, I assume.
You should put out that when you put
Chink.
out just that page of that, make sure you tag it.
Okay,
Vor.
Vor.
Just
Vor.
all of a sudden, like 14-year-olds are
Of
like
the
buying up the
Nephilim.
chosen one.
Yeah.
So I wanted to say that you were talking about like the mass burials and like the ritual and all this. So this one particular event in Desert Storm, after there was like dead bodies all over the desert, they just brought in huge steamrollers and they just mowed and bulldozers and they basically just buried everyone. So by the time that all the soldiers woke up, there was no trace of all the trauma that had just happened the night before. Like the bodies everywhere, and then all of a sudden, just pristine sort of sand. And then by the time that the press got there to take pictures, all they had to take pictures of was a freaking desert, and that was it. There was no bodies, and it was so wild. And that was, they cite it in this book as one of the things that contributed to maybe breaking his brain a little bit. It was just like, wow, how do you take this crazy like Gettysburg style battlefield with all this trauma and blood and bodies all over the place, and now they just never existed. You would never know that anything had ever happened there.
And that would also, in a ritual way, like feed the soil somehow. So then all the fruit off that land and all the animals raised there had that death underneath it. And that's so crazy.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy shit. There's crazy shit going on in the world.
Vor of the Nephilim.
Nephilim Vor. This is Nephilim Vor. Welcome to Nephilim Vor.
I'm sure we're gonna see that
part of
word
that.
popping up all over the place.
I know we are putting it on the timeline in a
Damn
big
it.
mean magic smell.
Well, it makes me
mean
think of
magic smell.
Jason Voorhees.
Oh,
know,
that's so
right?
good.
Wait, what part of the body is the first thing to create? Is it the nose or the anus?
You have to put
The butthole.
Jason inside.
I think it's the butthole.
Jason, inside
is.
Freddy, and then put Jason Voorhees. Like that's a shirt. Like somewhere there's
yeah.
a shirt of Jason inside something.
Jason versus Freddy, like Freddy
But
versus
Jason
Jason.
Voorhees.
Freddy's inside Jason.
Yeah, in a belly picture. See, we're having this is an idea. And we'd be like, ha, 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 look at Lore and Vor. Welcome to the Lucy Rose's Up new podcast, Lore and Vor.
Love it.
Like every picture about history is like some Vor picture of history, like some weird.
Dude, I mean, in the space that we're in, right? Somebody will find out about Tartaria, and then all of a sudden, every video is like Madonna's talking about Tartaria, and this car is a reference to Tartaria. We could just do that with Vor. Like now, all of a sudden, every single story historically
The
is
worm
just
in the
about
brain
Vor.
is the Vor. Yeah.
Well, if you think
Yeah.
about it, what happened is and
Kronos.
this is kind of when we were all at our meetup in Disney, we were like Nephilim, and then for real, it was like the whole world Nephilim. It was, and so if Vor becomes the thing and everything's inside a thing, and the way you're trying to, and we just start hashtagging all of our memes, like Epstein didn't kill himself, and you put a picture of him in Hillary's belly, and we just hashtag it Vor. Like we can still get the same, like 9/11 was an inside job, but you just put the Twin Towers inside Bush's belly.
Oh, that's
Kronos-
great meme
Kronos
magic.
and Zeus would be Vor, right? Because Kronos like ate all his children, and then they.
I mean, I think there's almost like always a sexual connotation to it.
So the Russian doll theory
Well, there
is
is. It
Vor.
is sexual.
Yeah.
A Vor with
nesting
a Vor,
dolls.
and a thing within the thing, and the thing, and the thing, and the thing.
See,
What
we're
about if we-
already mapping out all the episodes for this series.
when you're hanging out anywhere, like if you're like, you could just go boring,
Boring.
and people would be like, "What did you just say?" And you're like, "I said boring. I feel like I'm trapped
We
inside
could have some
something."
bumper stickers that say, "I'd rather be in your stomach," which would just be
It's my
like,
kink.
what does that mean?
I'd rather be in someone's head.
Than inside their belly.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I control their brain.
It's
I wanna
just
be in
all
their
cannibal
heart.
stuff. They really want us to be cannibals. Why do they want us to be cannibals so bad?
I don't know.
If you look historically in Europe, there was a few different resurgences of cannibalism, but almost every single one of them, when it came to like scale, it was just because people got so broke and so poor and so food broke that they would just end up eating their kids, because it was like, it's between me, my wife, and this thing here that needs to be fed. So like we can
I'd
knock
go
out
for the
two birds
bigger
with one
meat, though,
stone.
wouldn't you? You're like, may as well just go for the fucking adult because that's gonna feed me a little bit longer. But like I said, that's in the Bible, Second Kings, women boiling their babies in pots of water because they're
Because it
starving.
really happened. Like these things, and they've happened since then too. But I've almost seems that historians are trying to be nice to humans and their record, and they treat it a little bit with kid gloves, and it doesn't come up as like we don't learn about in school. But there's been more than a few different instances when, like, massively all across Europe, people were eating their kids.
Well, think about this. All the like mishaps with salts and like people eating people. Not only that, the terms and services around 2020 with Amazon, the whole paragraph of them talking about during a cannibalistic event, if a situation like that were to happen, it was on the terms and services for Amazon. I don't know if it's still there, and this is fucking real. I did this myself. I
I
checked it.
remember
I
this.
screen recorded it. This is a real thing. So it makes me question, would it be possible, do you guys think, in this realm that we live in this reality, would it be possible to have a zombie type event happening with humans? Do you think that is capable or possibility for them to achieve that?
Yeah, I guess if I have to get off the fence, I'd say yeah, it's possible. Just everything except for decaying muscle matter actually reanimating. That part not real, but I think that it'd be very easy to turn people into a frenzy, and then through subliminal messaging or other, have them consider other people be a viable target of their rage/hunger. I don't think that
They
either of those
could
things are really that out of the
scopolamine us
ordinary.
all from the airplanes, like from the contrails, and then we just watch our programming.
Honestly, all it would take would be a CDC mandate, you know? That's all it would take. Or for the CDC to come out and say, like, you know what? It's actually okay. It's healthier to eat your neighbor than it would be to go to the store right now. It's too dangerous. Eat your neighbor. Like, some people would actually, and that's a little bit hyperbolic, but I think that there's a real version of that they
say
could
that.
The
issue.
purge
I'm
sense
like,
of
if
it
they
all.
would have said COVID was 6 feet high, everybody would have been crawling around for years. Like
Yep.
that is
There
the
would still be
world.
people
I
crawling.
should try that.
Like
it
if
only affects you if all the short kings are all of a sudden safe again.
Well, yeah,
Maybe with the
because
short kings, you're not gonna catch the vid.
because when you sat down, you can magically take your mask off on a dining room table in the fucking restaurant. But as soon as you get up and you want to walk to the bathroom, oh, the mask. Oh, the boogeyman is right up there, around
I do
5
think
feet
when
high.
we talk about the mask, it makes the computer angry because it can't hit us with mask talk anymore. For some reason, the algorithm doesn't hit you. But there was a time in the world that, as heavy as we get hit talking about the 17th letter, if we would have, me and Layla would have been on IG talking about masks being bullshit, we'd both lose our accounts for 6 months.
Yep. Yeah, and I did because
As you
of that.
should.
N95 masks,
Yep.
calling that shit out. Bogus. All fake. If you really wanted to protect yourself, how you should have protected yourselves
China.
is by wearing a bodysuit, like a full-on fucking bodysuit. Zip it all the way up and wear that fucking mask with a tank. But this bullshit, your skin is an organ, your eyes can take in the virus, your fucking pores, your hair, the bottoms of your feet, any part of you
You
can
even
suck
get
up
her
a.
to believe in viruses, but that's a whole nother
That's what
conversation.
I'm
We're not going to
saying.
get a
Yeah.
medical. I hear you, YouTube. I took my medical misinformation class.
Yeah. We learned the hard way.
You learned us. So this is a good time to make sure you like and subscribe and go to Rumble. Or if
Mm-hmm.
you just follow us on either Project Chaney or Secret Society of Good Guys, make sure you follow us on the other. And you can follow everyone's channel here as well, because you never know. You never know.
Let's get ready to rumble.
Yeah.
I missed that guy. He was great.
He's still around. He's the
Yeah.
WWE guy. And here's a weird story of the simulation. That guy is Michael Buffer. And his brother is Bruce Buffer, who does the UFC. It's time. So they both have their like signature phrases. They're both coined. Like nobody else can say them anywhere. And they were like long lost brothers, and they didn't know about it. But they
Wow.
found. Isn't that crazy? They found out about it.
They both independently became announcers and didn't know that they were related to each other before that?
They were like, and they're from a famous announcer or something, and they're like love for it. Michael becomes like an announcer first, but the other guy loved like it was a natural thing that he knew all these announcers, so he found out who his brother was, and then his brother got him into it, like taught him the ropes, no pun intended. But apparently that's some real story of the simulation that they tell us so that two CIA brothers can travel around with Ari Emanuel's super spy agencies, TKO. TKO Entertainment, known as WWE and UFC to you guys.
So, do you guys think the Beast could be and is probably AI? Because it's everywhere. It sees everything. It hears everything. It knows where everyone is. Well, the ones who participate in it.
I think it's just one more vehicle for if there were a beast, it would just be one more way to get into this world. I don't think it's the thing. It's just a thing, like a finger. Is the finger the demon? Like I think the demon's the demon, and he has a bunch of fingers.
Well, when they describe the beast in, like, let's say Christianity, they talk about it being like a code or like something that's on your forehead or on your arm. So I think it's tied to this like system.
Oh, sorry.
Oh yeah.
That is so off topic. You just said it's on your forehead.
Well, yeah, because that's how they said it. Either on your
hand or your
forehead.
I'm sorry, you guys.
Yeah.
That was so.
And so it's like, what if since that system is the beast system, where it'll know everywhere, every movement that you make, every purchase, everyone you speak to, it'll hear you all the time, it'll see you all the time, it'll track you everywhere. So it's like
it even Santa Claus too right now.
Well, yeah. It's like that's the beast. Like it knows everything about you.
Here's the thing: is that beast is an acronym for Banking Euro Area Stress Test. It's a large-scale semi-structural model developed to analyze the Euro area banking system from a macroprudential perspective. But like this has been around since like the 90s, like the beast. So it's always been about because they say in the Bible it says like a person will not be able to buy or sell without the mark of the beast. So like it's always been related to banking and financial stuff. So I believe it's always been like, we can say it's a microchip or whatever, but I don't think it's even necessary now because it's in your hand.
Yeah,
right here.
It's going to be in your body, like as a system, I think.
But I'm just saying, I don't necessarily think it even has to be. I think that like that's what we all assumed, that it was going to be something in your body, but really like this is up to your forehead. This is in your hand. It's right here. Like it's in your hand.
Yeah.
They're not even going to need that pretty soon. Like, because that was the biggest thing too with the RFID chips. Everyone was like, they're all going to chip us. But not only do they not need it because of the phone, but at a certain point, if you even look at old Vegas technology from the early 2000s, the second you walked into a Vegas casino, even if they couldn't get your face, just by the way that you walked and like your heat
Yeah.
signature and like your gait is essentially the way you walk. Like they can identify
Yeah.
you and your fingerprint just by the way that you walk. It doesn't matter what you're wearing and masks, none of that
Well,
stuff. You know what I
the
mean? Just how
all-seeing
your arms
eye.
move.
Well, I
The
know
all-seeing
because
eyes and everything. And every device almost today. In the future, it's going to be the iris. The iris will be the print. Because this is just like so ancient. The harder it is to like detect someone, it's like the eye, because the eyes change. It's always like moving. It has its print and its own signature. So the eye, the all-seeing eye, it's the eye. That's what it is.
but back to the Vegas thing, like
Mhm.
basically the strip is owned by two different people. You know, half the casinos belong to one person and the other half belong to another. So like I I have a family member who's a hoe in Vegas and she got 86 out of one casino, and anytime she walks into any of the casinos on the strip that were owned by that company, she was immediately kicked out,
Yep.
or arrested. And then the same thing happened. Then she got 86 from the other end of it, and so she's basically like she can't go into any casinos on the strip.
Damn.
They see her the second she walks in.
That's that's fucking
But
crazy.
and you know how you were saying like the Amazon stores were really just human beings somewhere watching all
Yeah.
the cameras?
Yes.
In Vegas, they used to just have real dudes lay on top of scaffolding and watch people. And it was just people that were good at being like, oh, there's that motherfucker again, and recognizing faces and paying attention to like, that guy's just wearing a disguise. Why is he wearing a disguise? And they would just, so it's like some of the stuff that they try to convince us is technology. I just think there's human beings on the other side that are doing something like I don't even know if I believe Chat GPT is just necessarily putting stuff together and there's not like
You're
someone
describing
in
something called a mechanical Turk. Like back in the day when they would go and they would bring these what they claim were automatons around to like the world fairs and stuff, and people would go up to the automatons and they'd be like, "Oh my god, this is all mechanical," and it would have some mechanics in it. So they were convincing them that it was a robot, and they're like, "This is the future," but really they would just hire these like Turkish servants to lay down inside of them and like pull strings and pulleys and stuff. It was like this weird Rube Goldberg like esque thing, but it was kind of what you're describing and kind of what
Kinda like
Silicon
Panda
Valley
Bears.
does. They call it vaporware too, where like they put on this big show and they're like, look at all this cool stuff our thing does, and it doesn't ever actually do any of that. It's all just a bunch of lies. But it's a term for it called mechanical Turk.
what is the difference? It's like the Young Turks. Like they're not even going Turkish. They're
Ooh, the
always
Young
just been
Mechanical
fake.
Turks would be a good one. Yeah.
That would be such a great shirt with a jank. But
Riggs, she got arrested for massage without a license on one of the Saudi Arabian floors.
Who?
Because
what?
he asked what happened to the girl who got kicked out of like all the casinos. Massage without a license.
Oh my gosh.
Oh,
Well,
God.
that's a nice way to write it.
Huh?
But in the like idea, we always think Bluebeam is gonna be fake aliens, but why wouldn't it be like fake AI being this brilliant thing, or like the Neuralink? It's gonna make you so much smarter. But it's like, is Elon smarter? Like, is he really? So I don't know. I just think some parts of it we have to believe in this fairy tale thinking because this school of science tells us so. And it
Mhm.
just seems the exact same as aliens. It's like the whole school of like the space worshipers with all of that and like the wow signal and all those things. It's like those people have so much, it's like their whole life, it's their fantasy, it's their dinosaurs. And so I just think there's people that believe in AI sentience and quantum computing and all this stuff. Like, no, it's been proven. I've read it in scientific magazine. No, it's been it's like CERN. It's like there's people that want to believe that CERN is this end all be all and not just like maybe they're just making excuses so they can
Or
bring equipment down to the tunnels or to Agartha.
Or maybe America is just staying at a place where it just doesn't want to evolve, because if you go to Japan, they're way ahead of us in terms of like how they live, like with their inventions and the way their city life is. That's how they structured it. But in terms of like technology wise, they're way ahead of us.
But they've
Like
Man,
screwed themselves though,
they'll
because
sleep in a trash can.
Yeah.
They'll like put themselves in a cabinet and shut the door, and then
Yeah.
that's where they'll sleep because that's
Yeah.
all they can afford on their little island.
Well,
But they've screwed themselves by not screwing themselves too, though, because now they've got the worst example of the aging population that doesn't have a new one to replace it. So they're being forced, for practical reasons, to just accept immigration now. So now what a lot of people usually cite Japan as like this monoculture, and that's one of the reasons why they were able to be so advanced and have such like a preserved culture, was because of a monoculture. And now they can't do that anymore. Like they're actually going to have to destroy the entire monoculture of Japan just to keep up with the aging population. So we're going to see like a complete sort of revamping of what Japan, kind of was.
Really?
Yeah, it's like
Probably
really
in a quick
bad.
amount of time.
Because everyone just went into their apartments and never came back out, and they weren't having kids. There's no real Japanese Mormons, right? Like Mormons would fix this problem for Japan.
They would.
Holy
It's too late
shit.
now, but it's too late.
It's too
It's
late.
literally too late for them to do anything about it and replace their own population with more Japanese population.
Really?
Yep. Yeah, they have like government I think they have like holidays and stuff where they encourage them to make Japanese babies.
So they're having their own, like that movie where like all the old people are just like dying off and there's like no more babies. And what's that movie?
Children of Men.
Yeah, almost like that. They're going
Well,
through their
that
own
one's
Children of Men
mandated, though.
movement.
That
Yeah.
one's government mandated, and there's like a
Yeah.
whole thing, kind of like the Utopia show. But this
Yeah.
one is just because people elected to just not have as many kids, and it's the same thing that's apparently going to happen in the U.S., where you've got like the boomers, and then no one has kids after that. So by the time all of us are super old, there won't be enough people that are like, oh yeah, I want to go and clean up after old people. That'll be my career. There just won't be enough people to spread it out so that some people will be forced into taking that up as a career path. You know what I mean?
Even if you look at it in our society, the boomers didn't realize it with the X generation until it was too late. So by the time all the propaganda got around for there to be a bigger generation and for us to breed again, so there'd be a big enough generation of workers to take care of them, it was too late. So I do think like the little X generation is on the side of the sandwich of these huge generations, and those are also two, like I feel like the bigger the generation where everybody comes from one time frame, everyone comes, it's like easier to dictate, it's easier to swing that pole to one side or the other. That's why the baby boomers were so easy to take control of the country, because there were so many of them and they all were putting their head between their knees before they even got out of first grade. Like you already
You think
had
that's
them
why they
all.
did the Vietnam War, to like kill a whole bunch of them?
It's always masculine to me. Like it was a big like taking of like real masculine energy. And in the Vietnam War, to me, no matter what stuff the movies try to tell us of like, oh, and the French were there and then the Americans came in after, and it was just, I really believe there were just people like Americans sitting there doing studies, putting in different psychoactive drugs, different cancers and sprays and stuff that they worry
Agent
about later,
Orange?
and they were
Yeah.
really having men just run up hills and shoot at other men of the same squad. I think it was all just mental manipulation and like game warfare.
Well,
I don't think it had
Also,
anything.
they when we went over to Vietnam, that was the Golden Triangle at the time. This was like the best place to get lots and lots of opium. And then if you look, a lot of the GIs came back addicted to heroin because of that reason. It was like a main crop out there. But also, what happens slightly after that is that you've got like all these new opioids that are entering the pharmaceutical industry, and the same kind of claim was made for Operation Iraqi Freedom, right? We go over there and it's like, oh, we just happened to invade this place. They got all these poppy fields, and then you have another resurgence of opioids, and then an opioid epidemic, and then a fentanyl epidemic that's kind of the trailing end of the opioid. You know what I mean? And all of those can be directly correlated with the last few major political conflicts the U.S. got into. All of a sudden, pharmaceutical industry gets like the perfect freaking supply chain for all these. And it's not like we couldn't grow opium, but the way that you usually grow it, it's only good after a few generations. You can't just grow it and then it grows and like you're ready to harvest. You got to like let it grow and die and grow and die a few times. Well, guess what? Where they've been doing that for, hundreds of years, maybe more. So that was one of the main reasons. It was the Golden Triangle in Vietnam, and then the same thing with the Afghani opium fields.
So like the older the culture, the older, almost like the medicinal drugs they have in the culture there that they want to take over these places. And think of just what a little bit about how different a tomato would be from Vietnam compared to Afghanistan. Think of the opium difference.
My mom used to play in opium fields in Kosovo, in Albania. Like it's crazy. It's their flower, and what they used to do, like they didn't know what it was when they were kids.
So pretty.
Yeah, they would take the leaves, the petals, the red petals, and they would like use the pigments to like use it as makeup. And and I'm like, Mom, I wonder how many times you got fucking ripped out there, not
my
knowing
grandparents
it.
used to talk about boiling the opium leaves in the milk for the babies. If the babies wouldn't shut up, they would just boil a little bit of opium lettuce in the milk and give it to the kids.
Mm-hmm. It was a medicine. I mean, we have so many herbs and like.
Isn't the movie The French Connection? So we, I just said, French in Vietnam right before we got there. They were there for a while. And the movie The French Connection's all about heroin in France, and pretty much their story of Freeway Ricky Ross. It's like how the government was like helping kind of run heroin into France.
100%.
And so it's just like they had their whole thing right before we had our whole thing, because they were in the opium fields playing, and all their boys came back.
VFW always sell the little opium, the little fucking poppies too. My dad always had one in his hat because he was a Vietnam vet. He'd always buy them every time he saw the VFW selling those.
Yeah, I always thought those had something to do with the Queen too. I don't know why. When I always saw them, like, why are we selling the Queen's poppies? I don't know why. I thought it had something to do with the Queen of
State
England.
flower of California too.
That's probably their mocking. They're like, ha ha ha. I wonder how much sometimes with like flags, symbolisms, things, we know like the kind of like magics and weights. I wonder where they're like state bird, state flower, state gemstone, state thing, like what that weight has. Because it becomes a controversy. They try to change it sometimes. They try to make the Florida bird the flamingo. And Floridians came out of the woodwork like, nah, dog, don't touch our mockingbird. We're good. You can keep that flamingo shit. Which I like it. I don't want the flamingo. That's what the rest of the country thinks of Florida. Mockingbird.
Honestly,
Mockingbird.
I've never seen more comments in my life of people being triggered with flags. Like just a Trump flag. And like people forget. Did we talk about this recently or no? Or is it just in my head?
No, well, we talked about it on Sunday. But you can talk about it. Layla had a post kind of go viral, and she was just sitting at the beach, and the person in front of her at the beach had like a Trump flag waving. And you know how you can sit on a Florida ocean and you can see the storm out at ocean, but still be in the sun. So Layla's like, the storm is coming with the Trump flag, and
it was
like
funny.
2 days after the assassination, and it went viral.
Okay, that's funny.
Yeah, and people are just like, "Oh my God, triggered."
A Confederate flag beach towel hanging over his chair.
And people are triggered over a flag. And my favorite comment is Chaney's comment. She's like, these are the same people who get triggered at a flag. But what'd you say? What did you say?
I don't even remember. I troll so much online.
Yeah. And then I replied to
I
her
don't
comment. I was
remember.
like, yeah, these are the same fucking people who decide to wear 7 masks on a beach on 100-degree weather,
Yeah, I was
but
like, I
won't
think
get
these are the
triggered.
same people that wear masks because he said, somebody wrote, I think it's weirder to have a political flag on the beach, and I was thinking, do you go to the beach? Like, do you go? Like, who cares? Like, what's weird? Like, what's weird or not
It's
weird
America.
or whatever? Who cares? But then I'm like, you were the same people that were wearing masks on the beach, and in some of your states, you weren't even allowed to go on the beach
Mm-hmm.
because you guys like what? That's so absurd. Like, don't worry about what we're doing down here in Florida. You were scared we had spring break once.
Thank you. Oh my God, they're spreading the disease. Shut the fuck up. Stay home.
You're on
I
notice.
know. And
Literally.
they were also the same people that moved here.
I moved here.
I know. I'm
I
so
was a
glad some good
refugee.
ones did.
Yeah.
It's so wild. So I just think it's so funny that I'm like, I don't know. What the online stuff, like if any time that you're feeling super heated up by it, turn it off and just go outside.
Yeah, and then see it's not real.
Yeah.
Your reality is real, not the things that you see on here.
What
There's
about
was it Tyler the Creator that had a quote on that? But it's like, oh, I'm so sorry. You're being assaulted online. Shut the fuck up. Turn it off and go outside. Like,
yeah, like it's like online bullies. I'm being bullied online. Go outside. Like it's one thing when you're a child and you have to be bullied at school and then you get home and are bullied online. Like that's a whole thing. When you're an adult and you're choosing to do this to yourself, or a lot of these people, they're like so worried that they're being bullied online. I go look at their profile. I'm like you're an egg. No one knows it's you. Like you're just some rat. No one knows this is you at all. You don't have any skin in the game. You're just like I love cat 728 and no one knows anything about you. You have a picture of like Chester the cheetah. Like
Yeah.
get out of here. Why are you getting so personal about this? Like
Yeah.
nobody knows it's you.
You're just a name, like on a fucking screen. That's all you are to people. Like sometimes you're an image. They have a face of you if you share who you are, but you, the majority who hide behind a fucking screen without any pictures on your profile and just talk a lot of smack, bot or not, it's for you.
Sometimes just for because it's kind of funny when you troll like New York Post or like Hillary Clinton, Huma Abedin. Like if you guys are listening and you're just bored and you feel like going into any of the accounts I just named, you might see me at the top of the very tippy top. My favorite right now is Hillary Clinton put up this picture from Kamala Harris from like the 70s. And I said, Kamala Harris was Montel Williams' side piece, and then it has like comfortably over 450 likes. Like it's at the very
That's
tippy
awesome.
top of this picture. And so it's so triggering to all these people where people are like, who cares anyway? And I'm like, it's the most popular comment in this post. So apparently most of the people that come here, and then it's like, oh, your microphone's off, Thomas.
Reminder.
it's also objectively true. Like it's not even salacious, right? It's just an objectively true statement to make.
Yeah,
Reminder.
and then somebody said, so what? She dated Montel Williams. And I said, no, she's a call girl.
Yeah.
Like,
A reminder,
no.
she's not black, she's Indian. Y'all. Okay? Let's get that clear. There's There's an article from 2016 when she was, I guess, voted as a prosecutor or became prosecutor. And the title goes, First American Indian Woman Prosecutor in California, 2016. And then when she had the whole spiel with the whole vice presidency, all of a sudden, she's a black candidate.
Well, isn't one of her parents like black Jamaican?
I don't know.
Her father is like from Jamaica, but he is from a slave owning family. Like he isn't
I thought they were both Indian.
Like it's like Indian and African or
Yeah.
something.
Oh, I thought they were both Indian.
But it's like she isn't and then somebody wrote that too. Well, if you've been enslaved in America, I think you can call yourself an African American. And I was like, oh, speaking of slaves, like I would guarantee her family line owned more slaves than any person you're gonna find in this comment thread.
Holy
Her
shit.
dad, I actually was researching that, and her dad actually said some stuff about it, like about owning slaves.
Did everyone forget like how many people she put behind jail? Like behind bars?
Is this like one of those games you have to guess the jelly beans in the jar?
I mean, thousands.
Yeah,
And
10,000,
for stupid charges.
8,000.
And for stupid charges. Marijuana charges. You know, dumbass charges. Just because, you know? Let's not forget that.
But she does
Yeah.
like Tupac.
Oh my gosh. And I like how it's almost worse than Hillary Clinton, where she's coming out with all of these, like, you know how Hillary had hot sauce in her purse?
This one's like, we in the streets, girl. They ain't like us, right?
Yeah, and she's like, one time when I cooked collard greens, I had to cook so many collard greens. I had to cook them in the bathtub. And it's just like, are you like it's just like she's gonna own every part of every bit of Black culture. Like I'm gonna be a Brooklyn, New York, like I'm Jenny from the block when I'm in New York, and
It
I'm
works
in
very well.
yeah, it's so wild. It is crazy. It's just that
There's
we're
a lot
in.
of people that would refuse to believe that that the vice president or like a presidential candidate that got that far that would pander to them, but then they would also believe that they would be able to tell if someone were pandering, and like I don't feel like she's pandering. I think this is legit.
You know, you
Because a lot of
mentioned
people thought that Hillary had hot sauce in her bag.
you mentioned Tupac earlier. Did you hear about P. Diddy and how it's coming out that he had paid to have Tupac killed? Supposedly, there's a whole
No.
thing on it. Yeah.
Have you ever seen the movie? There
Diddy
was a
talk.
documentary and then a
trial.
dramatization with Johnny Depp. Have you seen this? I think
No.
Johnny Depp was in it. And it was all about the Tupac murder, or it was the Tupac and Biggie murders, and it got like squashed before release, I believe.
Uh,
I
don't think I'm making that up.
I think it's so interesting how 50 Cent is just very involved in this whole thing. Like every day he has something to say about a new rapper and a new person, and I'm like,
new meme
Just talked
magic
about
also.
Puffy today too.
Yeah, I think he put a hit on both Tupac and Biggie because he wanted to control everything. Because he wasn't the master of it all. Like he knew what his competition was, and he needed to take him out, and he did.
I think he got paid
He's
to
a
take him out.
beast.
I don't even think it was a competition. I actually think he's part of the CIA. And there were certain things about Tupac that were getting a little out of control. And
Who, P. Diddy CIA?
Yeah, I think Diddy
Yeah, well,
CIA. I think
just like
Tupac
Ghislaine was
CIA.
Mossad, right? Or Epstein was Mossad.
Yeah.
That, like this was their version of the hip hop Mossad CIA.
I'm pulling it up this way, Thomas. I want to pull it up on the thing, but I downloaded it to my computer and I can't fucking find it anywhere. So let me see.
He's a beast.
I'm putting it on silent just so we can pull it up and watch it because I think it's so funny.
Well, I just finished making the song that goes with it too. It's like a minute and 20-second song.
Oh, so can I play the one on is this one on your Instagram a fake song or
It is, that one is too, but the one on Instagram was 7 seconds. So I made a song and I made a much longer video with him dancing.
I have it somewhere on my computer. I downloaded it and I can't find out where it is, or I don't know if it stopped it. But I just think it's so look at he's like
So I was on a live stream earlier and someone suggested I shot the sheriff, but I did not shoot the deputy. But it could be like I shot the sheriff, but I hit him in the ear. So I made like a slight variation on that song and then put it a much longer version of this one. I got like a
Dope.
20-second version that I loop over and over as it plays.
Oh,
I
wait.
like it. And you know what's cool too is look at in the bottom right corner. This black guy that wasn't there just kind of appears out of nowhere. Like he wasn't actually at the rally, but there he is, clear as day. Like who's that guy? We should be calling like all like like all posts on this one dude and have like a whole freaking internet sort of witch hunt looking for this guy that doesn't actually exist.
Ooh, yeah, I found it. Cool. I'll be able to play it on the way out then for sure. Because
Nice.
I'm like, oh, I have to find it on my computer if you also made a song for it.
I really like it. Maybe it's just late and I'll like anything, but I was like really vibing to this one.
Okay, we can hang out for a little bit while it downloads before we. Do you have anything going on this week? Thomas, do you have any shows or anything? Anything to plug?
I've been doing a show damn near every day, basically. And yeah, I've got one on Sunday, I believe. We're doing a live stream. We're talking about Full Metal Jacket and all the symbolism of Full Metal Jacket. Everyone here's invited. If anyone wants to come, I'll send you the
I love
link.
that movie.
Send me the link for sure. It's one of, for real,
It's going
top
to be
10 favorite
8 o'clock p.m. Eastern on Sunday. And David Charles Plate will be there. I think Alex from Crypto Kubrology will be there. Maybe Andreas Zertis. And another person that I think you guys might vibe with. Maybe not. I don't know. But her name's Kitty from Flip City Magazine. And Flip City is basically like a non-woke version of Mad Magazine and Cracked Magazine. Like if they didn't so it's I think you would definitely vibe with them, so you should check it out. Everyone will be there, and
you have a good selection
this is all
of
in
people
celebration
you've
for
introduced
my
us
NASA
to.
comic.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, I'm totally down. And it's like so many things about that movie, and I'm like, I bet the wifey hasn't seen Full Metal Jacket. That always makes me excited when I can like sit down with somebody that there's like, oh, this is a great movie. Like Private Pile. Weird thing about Private Pile, he is also the bug guy from Men in Black.
That's right. That's right.
I always, every time I see him anywhere on anything, he is where I picture the Son of Sam, I picture Private Pile. Like that is like when he's in the bathroom and he's like standing in the mirror when he's like gone mad. Anyways, I don't. Spoiler alert.
You can't really spoil that movie. I mean, it's a big scene, but it's also so early on. But the movie is so transformative. I mean, maybe I'm just sound like a Kubrick geek, but there's so much going on in that damn movie that the first time you see it, you just think that you're watching a movie, and then as you learn about what all the different things mean, it's almost hard to believe that you wouldn't be somehow through osmosis or like subliminally, you're learning a much deeper lesson than just like left me a long time. Everyone like jokes about the one line, but there's so much around that. Like even that scene in particular has so much more symbolism. It's like drenched with.
Oh my god, that reminds me of the South Park episode where Cartman was a Vietnamese whore.
And he just quotes that over and over again.
Yes. I give you good
that
sucky
whole
sucky.
movie.
We love you
Only
long
steers
time.
and queers come from Texas, and you don't look much like a steer to me. And even like the soap, like seeing that for the first time, and like, oh, there's different ways society, like besides laws and rules, there's different ways we handle each other.
Oh shit! I wanted to do that so bad in boot camp.
I've seen it done, but not with soap because they don't give out hard soap anymore. Everyone has gel soap, but everyone would just put their socks inside of their other socks. It wouldn't seem like a lot, but when you get like 50 people lined up, all hitting the same person, like that little sock in a sock starts to hurt after a while. And I think it leaves less marks than an actual piece of soap would.
It is so wild. The whole, anyways. So
this is my rifle. This is my gun.
Yeah, the whole marching and like that movie is almost like two separate movies because boot camp to me is instilled in my head in one whole thing. And then when Matthew Modine goes to war, that is a whole other thing. And then his leave is a whole different thing. It's maybe even 2.5 movies. It's like a whole, I don't know. Wild. Yeah, if you guys haven't seen Full Metal Jacket, catch up, and then you guys can watch it on Sunday and go through the symbolism of it. Layla, do you have anything going on you want to plug?
Work. That's it.
Abbie?
That's it.
Oh, my real life is about to start back up as far as work too. Yeah.
Oh, back to life, back to reality. I'll talk about on Sunday probably a little more, and I won't go so into detail, but I definitely feel like in the loops of like the same character you always play, I chose a different character this week for myself for the first time ever on my loop, and it feels better. It feels like cleaner, a little more like I've always been a person that like in the moment I always am like, if shit stinks, I'm lighting this fucking bridge on fire. I don't give a shit if I'm standing on it. Like I have such a principles and moral but it didn't make me carry any less principles to handle it a little differently. And so yeah, I'll talk about it on Sunday. And so yeah, we'll be on Secret Society of Good Guys Ladies Night on Sunday, so you guys can like and subscribe and find us there. And then the Secret Society of Good Guys will maybe be coming sometime during the week for an hour or two during prime time. So look out for that.
Prime time.
And we love you guys, and we will talk to you soon. Bye bye.
Bye.
Try to shoot the number, but I missed and shot him in the ear. Oh no, oh. I tried to shoot the number, but I missed and shot him in the ear. Oh no, oh. Yeah, all around in my hometown, they're trying to track me down. Yeah. They said they couldn't stand on the slope safely. I just climbed right up. Nobody stopped me. Nobody chased me. Nobody cared that I carried a weapon. Aim for the head, but he turned at the last second. Oh, now, oh. I tried to shoot the donut, but I missed and shot him in the air. Oh no, oh. I tried to shoot the donut, but I missed and shot him in the ear.
Britney Spears, can we be saved? God, why is Satan controlling the universe? Here comes the show.
Constantly explore the view of possibilities. Come true, so what we do is call out to the good guys. Good guys, good guys, good guys. Witches, winners, bigger mistakes, entertaining, calling linguists. Good guys. Forum of decorum needs a secretive society to advance on philosophies intentionally, magically. Good guys, good guys, good
she's starving for the most attention because she's the youngest. Give me attention, please. Now, Sarah, you're very stuck up. And you're too cool for school, I get it. Jesus Christ, be nice, girls.